Hey, what's up? That's hilarious.
Oh,
We were
and
doing our YouTube thumbnail, and I had the Facebook
I
stream going.
gotta
So
pump
you,
up the
Facebook
monorail, mostly
hookers,
because it's
Fookers.
way cleaner.
Oh yeah.
You get on a bus and you go, oh,
Facebookers.
this is a bus.
Yeah. Be pissing on the bus
Oh
and
yeah,
shit,
it's
dude.
just bad. Some bus lines are terrible.
I had some dude like walking. I was on the bus. There was hardly anyone on it, and he starts walking to the back of the bus. I'm like, I know what this dude's fucking doing. Sure enough, so just taking a leak on the. I'm like, this
Carlos
motherfucker.
Mencius does a bit like that. You know,
Yeah.
we got held hostage by this guy. That's what everybody's talking about, but it's still funny. You know? It's like getting someone else's girlfriend for the first time. Who cares? You know? I don't know.
Keep hollering, you guys. Hey, do we need the AC anymore, or is it back to hot again?
No, I don't think so.
We'll turn it back on if it gets
Oh, it's nice.
fierce. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being patient while we get everything trucking. Don't think that this is the actual show yet. This is but a freaking flavor taste of us touching things
I love the
before it
poster.
occurs.
Well, I love all the posters in there, but this one I like. Faster Pussycat.
Yeah, there's always.
Well, you never know. Oh yeah.
Checking it out, saying things for YouTube. Oh, that's great. All right. We just weren't that chatty. All right. Get ready for the actual show. It's about to thing. It's about to thing.
Yeah, we
It's
about,
about
to
to
thing.
get all thing.
About to thing it up.
Oh,
And
I
get
gotta say
thingy.
thing.
Oh, yeah. So thingy. Get ready. Here it comes. Play that clip, buddy. Come on now. Here we go. That's right. That's so Friday. Woo.
yeah, we did it.
Hell yeah, doing it. Totally, twice.
Thinging
Lots
it
of
up.
Thinging it up, getting all thingy. Give me some crunk. Come on. Crunk
I
alert.
feel like a foreign exchange student.
Don't we all on
You
the
are.
inside?
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah, I'm from the future.
Welcome.
That's right.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah.
I didn't mind coming back from the future.
Yeah, it's probably not that great. That's what I.
Well, you know, in the future you get 4 eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you know all the texting we just evolved and have.
Do you get like hand eyes?
Yeah.
So you can just like look at your phone
And we
in
get
your
chips
pocket.
every year. We get new chips every year.
Everybody
Oh,
get
sweet.
new chips.
Yes,
get
like a
upgrades?
financial chip, medical chip,
Oh nice.
and a stimulant chip. You don't know what that's for, do you?
I
Yeah,
can imagine.
You can imagine.
You just get like
keep it,
stimulant release. All
rated
right.
PG-13.
I can. I can dig that. All the chips.
All of the chips. So we've got all kinds of juicy. We've also got a bonus guest coming in a minute, just to pre-warn y'all. Chris Drescher, renowned videographer, is hopping on too. But right now, we've got our main guest, Chris Vex,
That's me.
who we're not going to interview at all.
No, because I'm from another planet.
But like, you can interview yourself some because you
Well,
are
you know,
hella
I've
interesting.
been trying to do that for the last 25 years.
What's with you having shades on all of a sudden?
Well,
all
you
cool
know,
shading it up.
It's a Hollywood thing. I left Hollywood, but I feel like I'm in Hollywood again, you know. Because they kind of do this, you know. They put on
They
these
do.
big old, you know, all these microphones and the lights. You know, I feel like I'm in Hollywood. So, hey, thank you for taking me back into the future because I really feel like I did some good here on this planet.
Welcome back from the future.
Yes.
It's funny though because like you weren't all hidden-eyed a minute ago.
Well, you know, I wanted to come in full costume.
Can I get you to reveal your eyes? Can I get you to
Oh, yeah.
remove the peepers? No one normally people don't do that. I'm like being such a needy host. I want to see your eyes.
Different and unique.
Let's see those peepers.
Oh, yeah. And I probably have good mic control right now.
But hey, welcome to the talk show, everybody. We got juicy stuff. Tell all your friends. Gather everybody into the YouTube chat.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, we'll be ready to holler at you in there. I'm eyeballing YouTube chat time. I want some. I've got YouTube chat itis. I've got the fever. I've got chat fever.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's had fevers.
I wonder how they got that
Oh, man.
fever.
Doesn't matter. What matters is they get it cured fast.
Yeah, it's easy fevers.
Yes.
Low
It's
level
love
fever.
That's what they call it.
The best kind.
It is the best kind.
But hey, let's talk about actual events going on. What's your news pick, Mallow?
Well, you know, we always got to start off with something weird,
Yeah.
I feel, to set the mood. And this one jumps out because, I mean, this chick looks like she would do this. And she had her belly button surgically removed.
Shout out to Ange Kerfoot, not for having her belly button surgically removed, but this is a news item that Ange Kerfoot through us as one of our journalist assistants. Check out her music on YouTube,
Oh, yeah, I
Angie,
like it.
Kerfoot. Anyway, shout out to her for this crack journalism. So this other person,
Can I interject on that?
yeah.
Get your greedy on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So she threw us this juicy news. Apparently, this woman, disenfranchised by her unaccepting family,
Yeah.
as she grew ever more tattooed, got the corset thing where there's piercings. that were
Yeah,
then
so you can tie the
tied.
ribbon, yeah, on
Yeah,
the,
she
on the
did
back.
that. She forked her tongue.
A lot of body
Oh,
modification.
Big
Yeah.
chiefs like them that. No, big chiefs don't like them.
But, yeah, and she got her belly button removed. Which
That
did,
was the final.
Was that for aerodynamic type of thing? Or
I-
aeronautical.
She's
maybe?
way quicker in the water
Yeah,
now.
she's got it.
yeah. I think she did. I think she just did it out of like spite of her family because like
It's true.
her family didn't accept her body modification lifestyle, and she was like, "Well, fuck y'all. I'm just gonna impulsively get my belly button surgically removed because that's a thing that doctors do all the
And-
time."
She mailed the removed belly button to an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, I think he was the boyfriend at the time, but it didn't last. Probably because of the belly button, I
mean,
imagine.
Yeah, I think
Like if
that
I'm getting a
lowered
belly
it.
button in the mail, like it's fucking over.
That would look good on my new shirt.
Where's that going to end, though? How many pieces of her are going to end up in the mail? So there's
Yeah,
nothing
that's
left.
the thing too. You're like, oh man, what is it like a toe next? Is this like Big Lebowski time? Start pissing on my rug.
So
You know?
what next do you close your eyes? You know, like surgical closure.
Just like, oh man. Okay, have you seen the Eric Andre?
I know most men would be like, no, the mouth.
Have you
Quiet.
seen the Eric Andre man on the street thing where he's like stumbling around like a blind person,
Oh, cool.
asking for help? He's like, oh, I can't see, I need help. And then someone goes to help him, and he takes off his dark glasses and screams at
Like
them.
this.
And below his dark glasses are just flat skin, like there is just
Oh, they
completely
have, like,
flatness
stuff
instead
over-
of
oh, man.
just
Halloween
fake skin
all year
there.
round, huh?
Oh man,
I love it.
so freaky! I never realized someone with just no eye holes would be that much scarier than vacant
Yeah,
eye
it can be
holes.
pretty freaky. I did this quote from this chick is great. So, well, this line from the article. She decided to remove her belly button out of spite, as it is, quote unquote, what makes us human. I think there's a lot of things that go ahead of the belly button
No,
on the
a
list.
belly button makes me human.
Yeah, just like it's
Well,
what
that's some good memory.
you know. Sometimes people just say shit, and you're like, what the. Like don't try to like make it all philosophical because you're dumb and got your belly button removed. Like get out of here with that shit.
She does regret it though, and
As she should.
that's funny that that's like the main frame of the news story is like her regret. Instead
Yeah.
of like the mailing it to someone, that's pretty funny. But you know, it humanizes her,
Yeah, well I guess it
even while
got
she's trying to not be human.
it got like
That's how it works in society.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it does. You know, we should have human prods, like cattle prods, like bzz. Okay, act more like a human.
Remind
Man.
Yeah,
you.
remind you you're not
Man.
an animal.
I'm so behind that
If you
idea.
want, we can prod you.
But then I'm always like behind those ideas, but I'm wondering like how much would I get prodded?
I know.
Well, when you have
man.
a chip, it gives you like a ratio. You know, you have a medical chip, so it already the taser already knows you.
The
you know,
taser knows you.
for sure.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
like
did it-
assigned tasers.
Well, remember, I'm from the future. That's
Yeah.
what we do in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Look.
some point, it's gonna become a turn on. At some
Yeah.
point, you're gonna be weirdly turned on by being cattle
Oh,
prodded
that's
all the
the
time.
pleasure trip.
And then people will be like doing petty crime all the time just to get their prod fixed.
No,
I
please,
love it.
officer, don't tase me.
Yes.
Don't chase me.
No. I can't take it anymore.
Y'all, I have to. Speaking of that, I turned these lights way too bright. Hold on.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
don't hold on. Keep the song going.
Yeah, this guy turning lights
So
on.
now here we go. Like, dun, 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 dun.
That's
It's like
why. See,
we got a sound engineer, we got lighting engineer.
see, that's why you had.
It's all me.
This is like Hollywood. But you know what they say in Hollywood? It's better in Vegas. You believe it? It really.
That's what they say?
Yeah, it's way better in Vegas.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I believe it.
Have you been to Hollywood lately?
I'm gonna believe that.
No.
I mean, well, the weather's better. You've been to Hollywood lately? Because
Well,
it's
weather. You got weather in
you
your
can actually
car.
go outside.
You can adjust your car however you want. That's good weather.
my car weather costs too much though.
Does it?
Yeah, in
That
the
car
future, you
weather,
just
though.
got. In the future, you just got like personal weather.
Yeah.
It just follows you around
Yeah,
Oh
you know.
man.
based
Well,
on your
in the
mood.
future, we're just this close. Everybody has to wear suits because the atmosphere is so thin.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
just
major bummer.
it's a good thing though. You
Yeah.
know, because they got spacesuits that got style. You know,
I could dig that.
Yeah, it's
you can
really cool.
customize it.
Yeah, stylish ass.
and just
spacesuits.
remember, you're not limited to anything. The temperature, you can go to Alaska, you can go to South
excited.
America.
You got me
Heat
all
doesn't
excited.
heat, cold, no temperature bothers you in a suit.
Mars temperatures.
Yeah, just like yeah.
Oh man, speaking of that, I don't know if I'm interrupting a
No.
news flow that you have planned, but I have to bring up that moon dust that you can just buy now.
Oh wow.
What's funny about this is the fact that moon dust is really toxic. It turns out
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's
it
what they call
causes
it,
like a
radioactive,
moon
right?
hay fever. It's not a radioactivity thing, it's a sharp particle thing, so it's similar
Oh,
to
okay.
asbestos. So asbestos, the danger is the particles are sharp and they cut your lungs inside.
Yeah, yeah.
So the moon landing folks had a kind of hay fever from the sharp edges of the dust agitating their
They
lungs
have
and sinuses.
hay on the moon.
Well, it's like moon hay.
Oh yeah, moon hay.
The whole
I get it.
surface is like moon hay.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Hey,
Cows
moon-
hate it.
moon
Kills
hay.
cows right away.
Yeah.
But you can.
No wonder there's no cows.
No wonder there's no cows up there making cheese.
Just a cow jumping over the moon 'cause he's trying not to touch the dang
Yeah.
moon hay.
So there's this simulated moon dust that this company made and would rent out to science facilities experimenting how their vehicles could travel on the moon,
Okay.
or how to extract water from the moon, or how to extract minerals from that kind of material. But what looks like dust or beach sand closer up is actually these like sharp flakes, almost like glass shards,
Damn.
Yeah.
but on a smaller level. So it's really
So
fiberglassy.
that's the new weapon, isn't it?
Moon dust, man. We're
Oh,
gonna you're gonna get it in an envelope from ISIS.
It turns out it's just
Or,
asbestos.
you know, we got to be think constructive. It could be the greatest paint stripper.
Yeah, Russia's gonna
Yeah.
sell it as insulation
Yeah.
because we don't have dangerous enough insulation yet. So that's one piece of space news. Then I had another piece of space news that Kepler, our buddy that finds planets that we've talked about a few times in the older eras of this broadcast, even as it found different planets and such, and there's still data that it's collected that could lead to more planets found yet. 5,000 planets found since 2009. Exoplanets, other solar system planets confirmed passing in front of their various suns.
a few
that-
few Earth-like planets.
Kepler, can you help me find some more girlfriends?
They'll be planet sized.
Yes, there'll be planets. Or planet
Planet girlfriend.
So that long history finally came to an official end where Kepler shut down in a permanent way. They think it's probably not going to come back. It was already on the last of its power. It had a premature death. I wish I remembered which episode we talked about it, but it died and came back before, after having been like lost radio contact, thought she was a goner.
Yeah, yeah.
And this time, though, it's probably the end. But man, it was planned on being a 4-year mission. So 2013, this thing was supposed to be gone, and it got another 5 years. Yeah.
That's pretty
Killer.
impressive.
Kind of like the Voyager probes did that too, where
Yeah,
one's
I
still
remember that
on the
episode.
fringe of the atmosphere, or on the fringe of the solar wind of
Beaker,
the solar system.
wasn't it? That was a code. Beaker. It was like no, it was he wiped off the dust and it said Voyager. You know.
I don't know what movie you're talking about, but it
You
sounds
know,
like one
it's
everyone's
the movie
seen.
in my
before.
head. That's how I
I'll
write
count
music.
Counting it.
Yes. Oh, I can't talk about music. You told me.
No.
Yes, my guitars are in
Music is
handcuffs
dead
at
here.
home,
No.
so you know.
No, we can
they're
talk about music.
Fully restrained.
We'll demonstrate no versions of it.
Don't you have a song, the Lemon? It's the orange song.
Oh, you're
Well,
talking about Lime Rain.
Yes.
On my
You gotta
SoundCloud.
hear this song. I love it.
Aw, thanks,
Yeah.
man.
Like when I'm really tired, I listen to it because it just takes me there. And then
I'll sing it for you
the
guys
thing
right
is,
now.
yeah.
I'm just
would you-
kidding. It's an instrumental.
Yeah.
How awkward would that be? Like, okay, let me just.
Yeah.
just start singing.
Just do like barbershop quartet.
Oh man.
I love it.
Any more space news?
Is there more in the space news category?
I
I
saw
like
something.
The Dragon rockets they got, SpaceX and all that.
Oh man.
There's a
I'm
mission to
into
Mercury
that.
planned.
Oh.
Mission to Mercury launched.
There's
yeah,
some
what's
really
that good
interesting
for?
details, dude.
To watch it dissolve.
It turns out there's a lot we can learn about the solar system that we haven't been able to figure out yet, as far as how it formed, and
That's kind of against all my morals. My mom said don't play with fire.
uh,
It's like why would you want to really go to the sun?
so your mom said that. My dad said, let's talk about what you want to do with fire so we can do it together so you won't play with fire alone.
See, now my mom never said that. That's
What a
not
move,
fair.
right? Pro.
That's not fair.
So in this, we torched one of my Hot Wheels cars, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Map gas.
There's needs to be a college for parents, like
Mm.
you know.
You
Yeah.
gotta
If
melt
my
some
mom says it,
kids stuff.
Your dad should say it. Your dad should say what my mom's. Vice versa.
Should be a curriculum
It's not
for raising
fair.
kids.
Your dad said such cool things, and my mom never said.
You know,
shit
we're
like
saying that, but there totally is. There's a million free classes, like sponsored by the state, that you could take.
For
But most
parents?
people only go to them when they're forced to by the law.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's hella classes, you guys. There's a don't beat your wives class.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask how I knew about that one.
How didn't you know about that one? How's that? Indirect question.
So is that
Well,
okay?
what's important is that you survived.
You guys, I know, I survived. Mercury, though. So we're visiting Mercury. We're learning about the solar system. Shit's hot.
It got hot chicks.
I imagine it's just going to be like a satellite circling around, taking some pictures, maybe dipping into the old upper atmosphere.
Actually, it's an awesome pair of satellite-like vehicles. One from Japan, one from the European Space Agency. One's going to float around it and figure out gravitational action. The other one's going to, I forgot, bounce off of it. Google this stuff, you guys. This is supposed to be a taste.
Yeah,
Get into
we
that
need
Mercury
some audience
mission
participation
because
in this
there's
part
some
of the
interesting
show.
details, but there's a lot of interesting details in life. So holler at Mercury, check that stuff out. Get involved with your local space program and go to space yourself. Get over there. Get in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait till we can actually do that, though.
You didn't by chance lock the door, did you?
No.
Okay. Because it'd be funny if Chris was like outside because I would have no idea.
Does deadbolting it mean it was locked?
Nah.
No.
No, okay, it is not locked in.
No, you could just break in here all day. Come on over.
So
Radio
do you
Vegas,
guys,
that rocks.
you do this all the time?
This is every week, Fridays at 5.
Wow.
And we're on our 3rd season now. You're a 3rd season guest.
Oh,
Welcome.
cool. Thank you. I feel like
You feel 3rd season,
Vintage.
right?
I
I mean,
feel
you're
like a
past the
vintage
sophomore
guest.
slump.
Oh yeah, that was a good year too. Yeah,
I
that was
mean-
good. I love high school. Most people can't talk about it. You know.
Oh, yeah, we're talking
It's
about that
probably
before we
not a
started
topic.
because
Is it a topic tonight?
I was adamantly determined to remind myself that I hated high school. So I don't like go thinking that any of that's worth revisiting. But, I learned some things. I avoided learning some things.
Mostly that. Yeah.
Yeah. I learned you can't talk back to teachers unless you have a good point.
We had cool cars, but yours is way more of a legitimately cool car. What was your car again in
It
high
was
school?
63 T-Bird. It had telescopic wheel, which means come out, and it had tilt steering, and it had you pull the lever forward on the stick shift, and it would slide to the side the whole column.
But I like that you found a pocket too, where it the car was a 63, but this
Yes.
was 76.
This is 1976.
So
yes.
you got this 13-year-old car that was underappreciated, but you hadn't got into the 80s to where everyone wanted those muscle cars
Yeah.
again because the 80s cars were
They're like,
falling
ooh,
apart.
it's an old T-Bird.
My parents had an
yeah.
80s car, a Plymouth Sapporo, that they decided to make the interior out of corduroy.
Oh,
So strips of the interior would peel off like worms. As I was like, 3-year-old car. I'm in there, maybe it was 5 years old because I probably got it used. But I'm in there as a little kid, and there's just like roof and walls of the car just worming down and falling into me. I'm eating them as fast as I can, getting all
like
kinds
paint
of
chips, the lead paint chips.
just
Something
gobbling that lead-based
yummy.
corduroy. Corduroy. I mean, I'm saying that like that's like sounds bad. That sounds
Well, it was
awesome.
fashionable back
yeah,
then.
it was super cool, but
Not-
hilariously
Yeah.
undurable.
Who's your tailor?
Yeah, so like the 80s were full of the least durable car designs, so people didn't appreciate how valuable your cool car was. But
I also had a
but
Vega. Can I interject with that? Yeah.
Those-
I had a Vega and a Pinto.
underrated design, might I
Hey,
say?
they went forever.
Vegas and Pintos universally
$5 of
hated.
gas would take me everywhere.
But those hexagon headlights,
Yeah.
I loved them.
Yeah.
I'm into those the Chevy Astro had them too.
Yeah.
The hexagon
the Astro
headlights.
was a good car.
Cool.
Was good.
I mean, that was really
For the price, for the gas, you can get there.
pretty durable. The one my friend had too. Yeah, genuinely a good car for being a Honda copy. It was such a wannabe Honda Civic, but it nailed it. It was good. It was like America's take on it, just overpriced and not quite as reliable. Because like it was really really efficient but not fast.
I think that's when it probably started. America became the disposable country. Huh? That's what it sounds like.
Everybody.
I've been
got
trying to figure out
disposable
when
now.
that started happening.
Oh,
Was
dude.
it the 80s? No, I think
It was the oil
70s.
crisis of the late 70s.
Yeah.
And then the manufacturing caught up in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much in line with the turn of the century.
And
that
plastic.
Everything got
Yes,
plastic,
Plastic. Throw it away.
lightweight, aluminum blocks like the
Yeah.
88 Chrysler LeBaron, that late in the 80s, still aluminum blocks. So I had one, and everyone was like, oh,
Oh, but I had one
that's
with
one
the
of those aluminum blocks.
with
You
the
better drive slow, kid.
with the steel sleeves. That was the special.
Oh, that,
yeah.
no,
yeah.
I didn't have steel sleeves. I had fucking fall apart block.
Oh yeah.
I had the old melty
That sounds like
Crumble
the
block.
actual disease.
crumble block. Yeah, I had that crumble block syndrome. Oh man, so that was a cool car because it was a convertible. But what was uncool about it is it's spending half of its life off the road getting repaired. And its life of 6 months, I had that car.
Yeah,
For the block was like no block.
that's how you know it's a good car.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So
But the cool car I thought I had that was like underrated until later, I had an 86 Volkswagen Golf GTI. And then I was in high school like 97 to 2000, so I got my license a little later at 17 and got that car. It was the old family car. The odometer had broken and stopped spinning at 360,000 miles.
Yeah.
So who knows at least 100 after that. So this is like a 500,000-mile car, like when I got it.
Damn.
But Golf GTI, that thing was fun. We'd dirt and take it sideways. It just would love sliding sideways.
Yeah,
There's this
yeah.
road we called Fun South. It was called South, and we just like fill that hatchback full of kids and slide sideways, dodge poles.
now that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was fun as fuck. It was. I can't believe I got $900 for that car when I eventually sold it. Suckers.
And what year was that?
Right.
Sold it in 2002,
Well,
early
that's,
2002.
That's still not
Yeah.
really a lot of money. 2002.
No, I mean, it's a lot for a 500,000-mile car.
Yeah.
That was
No
a bargain,
AC.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that Volkswagen lust. That was before
Yeah.
Volkswagen. It turns out all their efficiency was baloney.
Yeah. Straight up lies, folks. Corporations are lying
More
to
like
you.
lie
Oh.
wagon.
Can I
Yeah,
something?
whatever you're gonna
kind of?
do. Love it.
I brought my lunch, so I just wanted to share this. Being top of the food chain, I don't know where to eat sometimes, or what to eat, or even who to eat. But I do know what to put on it when it's time to eat. And that's I got this shirt for you. It should fit you.
Oh, that's
So.
gross. No, I mean, like, I respect the brand.
What is it? Is it just Heinz ketchup?
Did you know that you are not going to be able to eat that? But also, Heinz ketchup is allowed to contain like 2% flies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's where you
When
get
you're
all.
top
Just
of the
like-
food chain,
That's
Where you
okay.
get all the flavor.
that's maybe why I brought this for you. So, anyways, you can use it for as you wish. Uh, this is for you, Floss.
Oh, thanks, man. It's fucking brandy
Yeah.
because I like marketing. No, it sounds like I'm bitter, but I love it. I'm gonna
Oh,
wait
you know,
for-
life is it's good. The good comes with the bad. Yeah.
Dude, it could be like, it could be like a mustard shirt, and I'd still thank you because that's a thoughtful. And
Well, you
awesome.
know, marketing these days. What's it really about? Do we really know what's in it? You know,
No.
somebody is making it in some factory, and you know, who knows?
Well, I
You know,
think I
it's-
don't
it's
like
a thought
ketchup,
that
and
nobody
then
wants to think of.
You mix ketchup. I think I don't like mayo, but then you mix ketchup and mayo and make fry sauce, and I suddenly like it. So obviously, I'm full of shit.
Well, because you disguise it. That's what we do in America, right?
Disguise it with another thing I don't like.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
like salt, sodium, and
Yeah.
what's
It
the
destroys
other
everything
thing?
on the planet.
Yeah,
It
sodium
does.
is explosive, and salt's made out of it.
Yeah, but try some on yourself.
Sodium and chlorine. Those
Yeah.
are the two things salt is made
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is great for your kids.
Yeah. Drink it up. Drink it up. So now we were talking about, since Chris is from the future over here and we all have chips for everything, in Sweden, there's actually a whole slew of people getting little chips implanted in their skin to make everything more easy access, you know?
Yeah, efficient.
What
Yeah.
the article didn't mention is these chips are the exact same technology, yay, even sometimes the exact same chips that we've been putting in the necks of animals for like
Oh, like microchips and stuff?
for
Yeah.
like 2 decades.
Oh,
Wow.
No, when I
Back to
was
the
in,
space thing, but that's what they did in the space days. Test the animals first, right?
for sure.
Yeah. so-
Yeah, they look like a little grain of rice. There's a coil of wire in there and a little chip. The coil of wire gets energized by magnetism, just picks up a magnetic field, kind of like wireless charging in a phone.
Mhm.
The chip remembers a number, sends that number through another piece of wire in there that acts as an antenna, and boom, you see the number on this little handheld scanner thing they'd rub on the back of a cat. When my mom used to work in an animal shelter, around that same era we were talking about, 2001, 2002.
hmm
And that was the thing. You look at them; it's the same little fellas, but they're putting them in the a portion of the thumb. I think it's by this web.
Yeah,
there's
I'd
like a
imagine
lot of
it's like,
fat there.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone's got junk there to throw a chip into, but they can not only make purchases like that whole near field technology where you wave your phone
Mhm.
at the purchasee, but they can get into their homes with that near field technology. They can get into the gym. They can buy buy groceries. They can get into
Office,
stuff
it can
with
store like personal information in case you're in an accident and shit.
Open that gun safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like I always remember because around that same time, it was like 2000 when like the whole Left Behind thing, which was like the Christian end of days apocalyptic series, right?
Yeah.
And that was a huge thing. Is that because it you know, they took this weird idea like of this guy mixing all these verses from the Bible, and it's like this end of days prophecy that he just like made up, but whatever. And then these two dudes wrote like this whole fiction series. It was like 12 books long or something.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's based on the book of Revelations, and one of the common things is the mark of the beast. And then so that, you know, you just start thinking about that with the future, and they're like, oh, they're going to make us put chips in our skin. And so around that time, that was a big thing of when they were talking about RFID chips being implanted into skin. Like it was the end of the world, of course. Like there's been one. There's probably been like an apocalyptic scare like every year since like.
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel that way? Or like every
yeah.
other year, there's some crazy
I'm
dude.
going in my
There
6th
always
decade.
was,
Yes, every
yeah.
10 years we go through that.
Yeah,
I've
if
been
not
through it.
more.
No, end of the world. Like, oh yeah, I know
Yeah.
when the end of the world is when they throw that last bit of dirt on your grave.
That's
You know.
it for you.
Yeah, well, you know that's it for them. I'm still going.
I mean, what's the net? Like we had the most recent ones have been like Planet X or Nibiru. They're supposed to just be this giant planet just like hanging out there that's just gonna stroll on through. and like wipe out Earth or some shit. I don't know. That's the recent one. All that stuff is hilarious to me.
It's superstition.
Meanwhile,
I believe.
Planet X, plausible. If we don't up our surveillance game right now, if there was a world-ending rock heading towards us, we'd only have a month or so warning.
Yeah,
Which is
totally.
cool. That's better than the warning we used to have. But it's not the best amount of warning.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, even if we had longer than that, I mean, you're gonna stop a giant ass rock the size of Texas floating through space.
We're gonna send
We're
oil
just-
drillers.
Yeah.
they're gonna get some oil while they're up there too.
We're gonna have
Think
Good
aerospace.
oil.
We bully it. It'll leave. On
There
Everyone
we go.
collectively bully it.
Yes.
The ultimate power that humanity
Yes.
holds.
Get the fuck out of my space, you piece of shit.
You little rock, you.
Yeah.
You're not as big as you think you are.
Oh, world-ending comet. Yeah, right. Shh. I've shitted out
I
turds that
got
are bigger
bigger
than
rocks in my pants.
You. Yeah. It'd be like entirely up to America to do that. I feel like.
Yeah. Save us.
I feel like we have the crassness.
Get all the adolescent kids from high school. And we're gonna bully this
Yeah, man.
this big space creature thing out there.
For reals though. Space bullies. I mean, we got that Space Force coming.
Yeah.
We got the Reagan space lasers. When are we gonna
Well,
get
now we're
that,
good at it.
that Reagan space laser?
I know, right? We just like all these cool. I mean, it could have been, just ruling the planet. Be like, oh, really? You want to fuck with us?
Oh man.
I don't think you guys have space lasers.
That's literally us now though, since we spend more on our military than every other military in the world currently combined.
Yeah, and then some.
This is one little country. Yeah.
Well, like you look at the amount of aircraft carriers we have, and then like the next country would like, I think Japan, and they have like one. We have like 9 or some
What did they
bullshit
do
like
with
that.
the old
Britain
ones?
has a couple.
Do they still?
Yeah, yeah.
What did
Okay.
they do with the old aircraft carriers? Are they all still running?
Well,
No, I'm
remember-
sure.
I think I know, but it's not going to sound plausible.
Oh.
Do you know what happened to the, was it the Queen Mary? And
Oh, the Queen
down-
Mary's in Long Beach.
Yeah, where it's
Yes.
just permanently docked and
Yes.
people just have like their proms on it and stuff.
Yes, there's a restaurant.
That's what you do with the old aircraft prom carriers.
Well, you maybe turn them into cruise ships.
Yeah, prom cruise.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah.
Imagine you land on your cruise
You
ship on an
land on your
aircraft.
cruise ship.
Because you can helicopter
Yeah.
on those things all day.
There you go.
Multiple.
That is the ultimate cruise ship.
That sounds like a Hollywood prom all day.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
promy.
Can you imagine? VIP right onto an aircraft carrier, which is really the new cruise ship.
And then a war breaks out, and you're like, oh no, this is the prom cruise carrier.
Oh yeah, war breaks out, and then there's a secret compartment where the missile comes out, and you launch into space because we're back into space again.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
We just go back and forth to space at will.
Yeah, we're off to space. See you guys later.
Off to space.
New sword.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stinger's back. Welcome back, Stinger.
Stingers. Speaking of stingers,
Oh, Waz, have you ever seen this trick? You ever seen the trick with the bat?
Oh, show me some bag trick.
Okay. Take this imaginary ball,
Okay.
throw it to the bag.
All right.
Throw it.
Oh, almost missed.
So I gotta do it with this hand. Okay, ready?
All right.
You throw it
all right.
hard.
My grandpa used to
Yeah.
like mystify me with that for like
yeah,
an hour.
And
Yo.
this one too. Oh, that one still works on kids though. They just
I
love
thought
it.
you were
They're
gonna
like,
pull a ball
"Wow."
out of the bag.
No, it's the
Oh.
It is. I mean, it's there. You just can't see
It
it.
landed in there pretty realistically.
But
Yeah.
will it work in space? That's what
Will
I
it
wanna
work?
know. Will that trick work?
Just
in
really
space?
slow because the balls, no
we need to
gravity.
look into. There needs to be a study of what magic is going to function in space. Like,
Yes.
what can we do with this space?
That's what we
magic?
need to do with our time.
No, space magicians. What is David Copperfield gonna do in space that he hasn't already done? I mean, he's,
Well, it tells jokes like "Twinkle, twinkle, little star." Yeah.
he'll
Like
just like
Twinkle
make.
jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, no. Once we like really get out into space and we have like established space stations that people live on, or if there's a moon colony, you think there's gonna be like a magician that makes the Earth disappear?
And here's the irony: if you get stoned in space, are you really spaced out? Or you just in space?
No, you're earthed out. Like, look at that dude.
you're
He's
earthed
so
out.
back
Yeah,
to earth.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
what it is. You're earthed out.
Man, look at
So-
how back to earth that dude
I'm
is.
so terrestrial right now,
Ugh.
bro.
Look at that earthling. Gross.
Man.
He probably wasn't even like genetically selected. Ew. Designer jeans though, high and tight, wearing them designer jeans. That keeps reminding me though. I can't stop thinking if you guys want a hole to climb down there with me next week about black DNA, dark DNA.
Dark DNA.
Dark DNA, yeah. Kind of like dark matter, where we're like, it doesn't exist as matter in the tangible form that we interpret matter, yet whether it's in another dimension or what, there's stuff that we can't account for that's affecting the position.
Yeah,
of things
it has
we
an
live.
effect, but you
Sounds
can't
kind of
measure it.
racial to me.
So there's this black urban DNA that but no, seriously though, there's these things that to me, like looking at code curiously, especially like machine language stuff that's already compiled to where it makes no
Cold War,
sense to a human.
Fortran,
Because you know,
binary.
you write in a script and then the script is compiled and then it's a series of data that you can't really uncompile and get the script back from. There's too much information that's missing to reverse compile most things. But the computer understands what to do from that.
Is that through encryption
Similar,
or similar to it?
Yeah,
a
similar
different
in
language.
that it's difficult to reverse.
Oh, wow.
Encryption runs on the same concept as far as once it's put into this number, once it's distilled to that, it's hard to undistill it. It's hard to
It's a
uncrack
definite-
that egg.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to turn that omelet back into an egg
Yeah,
again.
a 2 is always a 2.
Yeah, but
Okay.
if you crack 2 eggs, you're gonna know they were both eggs and one wasn't like a chocolate egg because the result is going to match or not match. That way, a company like a modern website can verify your password without actually storing your password. That's helped a lot of the security breaches we've seen lately be more breaches of just personal data like ID data, your address attached to your name, which is more dangerous for spam marketing than actually identity theft because they're not actually storing your password anymore, just this hash. And then you hash what you put in as a password, the hashes match, boom, we're good. But that's also why they have to send you a new placeholder password or have you reset your password right away. If a website, you forget your password and they ever mail you your password, you get your actual password in an email.
Yes.
Get rid of that password everywhere. It's probably on the dark web already. You're hopeless.
Yeah.
Well, I would do it for a purpose.
Yeah.
I would like somebody to open my mail for me. There is a lot of it.
They'll open it and they'll respond to it.
Yeah, please do.
And they'll take out credit cards as you all
Yes,
day.
yeah, that's fine.
Hey,
That's
they
good.
can try.
There's
Just keep my
pre-approved.
credit score high, buddies.
Oh yeah, they'll pay them off on time too, for sure.
Sure, they
Where
can-
were we on that? I've got.
I don't
We
know.
were out in space. We did.
We're out in space.
We've been all
we
over
did
the
some
place.
Chips.
This episode's
Yeah.
spacey. I'm loving it though.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
acting.
Well, you know that's what
snotty
the
about it.
future's
I'm
all
into
about.
it. The
So that's
future-
why I came back.
Well, there's a lot more space there than here. That's for sure. There's a lot more places to put things up there. Yeah.
We have a PSA. Don't use blowtorches to kill spiders in your home.
No, turns out, y'all, we gotta learn real quick. There's a little
Oh, do you remember
educational
that
moment.
song you guys used to play?
This
The
one?
Spiders.
Oh no. Oh, dude, you're going
Dude, that
way
was
back.
my favorite song.
That
dude.
was Brett Bendrewski
Yes,
wrote
that was my
that.
favorite song. dude,
He
you
was
guys
a
used to play.
guest the last season. Brett Bendrewski, awesome guest. He wrote this song for a band we were in
Here come
together.
the spiders. Or something like
Yes.
that. It was badass.
Arguably,
I wish it was
the best
recorded. I could
song of
listen
our-
to it today.
You know, I've got a deep recording.
Do you?
I'll get to you.
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
please
yeah.
do.
A pretty good one
It
too.
is one of my favorites from back in the day.
Yeah, I'll get it up or cloud link and cue you all in. But yeah, masterpiece. But that was a band called Rooftop Ridicule.
Oh yeah. That's
Shout
right.
out, holler if you remember that
Woo!
old piece. That that band. That's 9 years ago. That was a band in town.
Back
Damn
in
you.
my days, when I threw rocks across the water, we created planets.
So yeah,
All day.
seriously, don't blow torch spiders. Serious news.
Yeah, so this dude and I mean, this has happened other places, but this dude in Fresno was house sitting his parents' house. apparently there were a lot of black widows outside on the house, outside minding their own fucking business.
Yeah, being all cool, just catching bugs that are actually bad.
And then he decided to just go try to torch him with a blowtorch. And I mean, it's just a bad idea. Like spiders can catch on fire and they're gonna run away, run
it's
into the
against
cracks.
Geneva Convention, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
dude,
true. That is
it's
a
a
good
war
point.
crime
Yes,
too.
It is a war crime.
Yeah.
Oh man, people be war criming spiders and not even looking.
I mean, you don't even give a dueling chance to the spider.
Right.
You know, like get on my arm at least you can, you know, at least
Here's
make
it,
it
like
fair. Duel.
I don't know why people
Slap
are
him with a white glove or something.
That immediately kills
Yes.
them.
10 paces. Whack.
Oh man, that dude didn't even take my starting a duel.
Oh no, what did they say like back in the no? I demand satisfaction. You slap someone with the glove.
Oh man,
10 paces tomorrow at noon.
that sounds like a start of a porn.
I demand, yeah.
Was
That's
it,
Also
a
a
little
porn.
dominant.
You had to be back in the day if you're going to challenge someone to a little musket duel.
Yeah, that was the
Little
that was
hand
the
cannon.
jock move then.
Yeah, right.
That's what the quarterbacks did. They just shot each other.
so do you have a topic that we can just bring a topic up? The guest could bring a topic.
Please.
Yeah, do
I
it.
invite you. Bring
The
one.
topic. It's called.
Topic moment.
I'd like to bring back tar and feather.
Tar and feather.
Yes.
I can get behind that
Yeah.
as like a public humiliation thing.
Yeah,
We-
and
we'd
you know,
have
there's
to-
always that one person that's just a straight. You know, being an asshole, I think is cool, but being a super asshole and like you disrespect the whole group, not just one person. That person should be tarred and feathered. Hit that noise thing.
Tarred and feathers.
Tarred and feathered. Yes, for sure.
But we'd have to do a little regulation on this because, like, little known when people actually tarred and feathered, sometimes they'd get it too hot and they'd melt people's skin off and they'd like die from it.
No,
Was
they got that
originally,
new
like,
feather.
like,
You know that new.
we got to use
tar.
that. Yeah, I know.
It's it comes in a can.
Henry's. Remember Henry's? I shouldn't say remember. Like
Yeah.
people still use that probably, but back when I had roof problems, and
I'm sure some corporate will come up with an
so
easy way to tar and
Yeah.
feather somebody.
we
If they come up with taser, they're gonna come up with the tar and feather gun. for
Henry's
sure.
it.
Yes.
Use wet
Yeah.
wet set Henry's. God, I was talking like my roof problems are over. Just now it's a landlord's problem. But yeah, like, you know, it only rains like every 9 months or so. So it's like plenty of time for a roof that was supposedly fixed to become unfixed again.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I just back in Leak Town, back in ceiling peeling town now that we're getting into monsoon seasons, like ceiling peel season over here. It's like put down all your towels and shower and just dry yourself out for the cat because all your towels are picking up that.
It's silicone. Just go find the cracks, silicone it.
Henry's.
It's good for the season, you know. No, that
Sorry,
tar is
dude.
all messy. Forget it.
Yeah.
I want to use that for tar and feather.
Silicone gets expensive though. You do that much on a roof surface.
Well, how about caulking at least?
You guys tune into the Greasy Conversation talk show. We're going to tell you all about different materials for roof repair.
Yes.
But what kind
Bring him
of?
back as a guest too. You got to bring him back. As a
I mean, this
Representing Henry's, we have this side.
important question: what kind of feathers? What are like the most humiliating feathers you could tar and feather someone with? Though?
pigeon feathers.
I was going to say like those Mardi Gras plastic feathers.
No,
They're
it's
like,
got to be pigeon feathers because there's just enough of them already on the street. We can just roll them in the side of the curb.
What about no? What about just like all the headdresses that people wear to festivals?
That would be cool because then it'd be festive.
Those ones?
It'd be
Did
you- Yeah.
tar and feather.
did your mic get loose there?
Did it really?
I thought I lost you a second.
Oh,
You're
you
talking
probably
about
did.
festival
I
feathers?
went way back here.
Oh, that's all it was. I,
got
just
ex-
have you.
I got excited. And
I just had
I
you
rolled
weak.
back like a
It's my bad on the slideys, man. I got
like a
my slidey
Walmart
game.
sale. I
That's what
rolled
they
back.
call these in professional audio. They call these slideys. And I'm the Slidemeister, and the Slidemeister is not on his slide game. That's what they say in the pros, you guys. Slidemeister. Slidemeister Supreme. All right. I'm
Well, anyways, the end of that subject, tar and feather. I still say we bring it back, or somebody will end up doing it.
Nickelodeon
anyways.
GAC.
How come somebody
Oh,
hasn't
yeah.
done it anyways? How
Get
long's
slimed.
it been since we had
Yeah.
a tar and feather?
Why aren't we sliming each other? Like, this political candidate has lost the debate. Slime.
It would be way better. Yeah.
Get the young people to vote.
But yeah, put entertainment in
Yeah.
politics.
Have Mark Summers from Double Dare host the debate.
Nice.
And Family Double Dare.
Yeah.
It's like
The
name
fact
all
that-
the variations of the same show.
Find out who's dyslexic and put the strobe light on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's go over good.
That's classic Nickelodeon. Let's learn about the epilepsy on live
Yeah.
television together.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Mark Summers, I'm just super proud that his name is on like instant. Like, ah.
Everyone, yeah.
I
you
don't remember any political figures or who I should be voting for, but I can remember Double Dare's host. Thanks, cable TV. Real educational. All right, that's enough of that.
I see one in here was, I don't know, because your notes are awesome. It just says salmon shame.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh because the salmon shame is actually a salmon. Like it's actually pronounced phonetically because
Oh,
that
salmon.
yes, that is the leader of Saudi Arabia and also the last name of his prince son. And they're snappy. They've got egg on their face in front of world politicians now, thinking they could go back to old school ruling a country ways where you take the journalist that's speaking out against your rule the most and cut off all their fingers and then torture them to death
But
when
no
they're just
Tom
trying to come
Feather.
back to town to finalize a divorce. Meanwhile, dude's a American citizen.
Yeah.
And even Trump, who started off saying, this is tough, we're kind of in bed with them financially, which honestly, I appreciate the transparency. Like, look, I've got to do some more investigation before I condemn them because I'm literally lying in bed with them post-coitus on a financial
Smoking a
standpoint.
cigarette.
Yeah, I'm there. We're kind of a thing. So, nice turnaround. He kind of had to, so it's not like full credit on his character on this, but still credit where it's due. Fully condemning the Khashoggi, sorry
Yeah.
for the name, but that brave journalist, the work that keeps human civilization safe and woke, so to speak, and his brutal assassination, completely condemning it, speaking out on eye level with the rest of the world that can't be tolerated to happen to a country's citizen, especially one that's like a proponent of truth, so to speak. So I mean, like, American way, like one of the things that makes us stand out even above other industrialized nations that are just kicking our butt in every category you can measure it. We still get to say what we want about our government and treasure that.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
that's what that's about. And I was kind of following up on that, but it kind of hit critical, almost a kind of conclusion with that. Ah!
So-
I thought
Hey,
it would never
Chris.
come. Slide in there. Like we got you a pocket.
So could we send my idea to Geneva Convention?
Yeah,
or
I'm-
something like that.
I got Geneva on speed dial.
Yeah, Geneva Convention. We'd like to have them
Toss to
tar and
Geneva.
feather instead of chopping their fingers. Just tar and
Going
feather
wise.
them, send them back home. You know, you don't need to chop their fingers off.
What's up? We got double Chris's.
Hey, Chris, I know this guy.
Chris Drescher is hopping on the
Yeah.
mic. We like to get kind of in on the mics here. So, as tempting as it is to be like all super back and casual,
It's called
we got in the
mic.
habit from having the AC on and stuff that we're like
Correct.
proximity effect.
Like right in it.
effect.
No, AC is like actually one of the biggest things that the audio industry has to face is just like AC and choppers. So,
Oh yeah, just random choppers like flying by a chute.
oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I love that
yeah.
you're not like helicopters. It's like it's
Yeah.
them choppers.
Oh man, those choppers both
Those
on the ground
motorcycles.
and in
Yeah,
the
the
sky.
motorcycle
Yeah.
ones though too, for
So-
reals. Yeah, what I do on the iTunes part that doesn't make it on the video broadcast is a noise reduction thing. Shout out to Reaper, which is a free audio multi-track thing, because there's a cool Refer, it's called, this plugin that will let you do like a spectral.
Does it take the air out or something? Or
What it does is you play just where the silence is, where the noise is living without anybody talking,
Oh,
and
okay.
it catches all those frequency peaks, and
Yep.
then you flip a checkbox, and it does that in reverse and removes them. It's really similar to the noise reduction in Final Cut as far as how it sounds a little bit underwatery, or like a cell phone call when you've got a lot of wind noise in your car and the people sound kind of underwatery. But I try to tame it down because it's more. I have more control over it than the Final Cut one. where
And
it's just
like on a
slider.
mixing board, you can just take that out. Well, take all the highs out. If that's what frequency it is, you can take
Yeah.
it right out.
Well, because
Not all of it. You get some of it.
well, static is so
Yeah.
spread spectrum
Yeah.
that you pretty much have to get like this comb out of it, and that's why it gets a little bit MP3 sounding too, because you're ideally just hearing a lot of in between things.
But you don't add delay to it, do you?
No.
I like that you laugh at that.
Oh, man, because I kind of should. It'd be fun to get that
Yeah, it
echo
would.
every once in a while. I just hadn't thought of it until you said that. And that was that laugh of like, that would be funny. Why am I doing that? Not. Why am I not? But Chris missed that we've got suspense moments. Is, I'm wearing that. Is that coming through those guys? Yeah, you guys can hear this.
Yeah.
Oh, watch us learn and grow. It's you can totally see the scaffolding. No, I'm proud of showing some scaffolding on this show because I'm doing it inspired by other people and the early podcast days and early YouTube days that we're still in currently. That you see some gears sometimes of how it's working for them, and I want our audience to feel like they're growing and living the dream with us.
Right. Yeah, and every day it just gets a little bit easier for software.
It does.
And, the technology that comes out. It's just amazing. My friend just got back from like the Adobe meeting in California, and they actually fully integrated Premiere into a tablet app. Like it's the full thing.
It's
like,
the final competitor to Final Cut on a iPad Pro,
yes, correct.
which is like
Full
insane
Premiere.
that's even possible, but it should have been possible
Yeah.
like more cross-platform by now, and finally.
Well, actually, Adobe and other devices have had issues when it came to RAM.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what's funny is that you can actually proxy some of the hard drive memory as temporary RAM.
That's a move.
And that's what kind of Premiere did, but they had to kind of work side to side with Apple and Android devices to make that actually work. And I mean, because overall it's the processor in these small devices that are so powerful that we're able to get away with all of it.
Mhm.
So I just think that, for that to finally come out was, to me, was a little bit of a breakthrough. But also Megan told me, who was there at the Adobe, meeting convention, she said that everyone stood up and applauded when you can just simply control, like Alt Control, or Control Delete and go back, like basically the undo button.
Alt tab.
Alt
Oh
tab.
no, wait. Control Z.
Control Z.
Yeah.
So there's infinite Control Z's now.
Oh, neat.
Oh,
Like you don't
that's
have
like
to
the best
control
thing.
because before you had to Control Alt Z,
Yeah.
and then you can only go back so many times. And so when they finally said,
the
okay,
step back, like a
Right, the step
newer
back button.
Photoshop's
Was
Right.
that because
now,
of mistakes or?
I don't
error?
know. It was just
Why
they
would you
finally
want it back?
said, why can't we just fix this? And they finally did.
There's
Oh.
a certain point when Photoshop went from Control Z being step back, which is what they call
Right.
undo, to being their undo. And so Photoshop now, it's only undo and redo, only one step.
Oh, to
Otherwise,
define
it's
your
called
save.
step back,
Right.
and it's
Oh,
a
nice.
different command. So if you hit Control Z, you go one step back, and then Control Z becomes redo.
Exactly.
So you can only redo and undo, which is
Right.
neat when you want to compare your last step, and that's the idea for that workflow. But you have to remember that there's this other key when you want that workflow of like, oh shit, take this way back,
Take this way back.
which
right.
is my usual.
So they actually they keep a
First line of thought.
My
right.
usual is like, ugh,
And
I
so
want
that's
this
why
a few
you know,
steps back.
and Vex, with you being
Yes.
here too, I love this because when I remember when I was in art school, it was like there was no control undo when it came to like an art or illustration or something you're painting or drawing or playing or writing, what have you. And what I like about what you do on stage for Rebar a lot is it's like you just want to have like don't worry about mistakes.
Yeah, never
Just-
worry about the
just
mistake.
play.
It's a live show, and it's already pre-planned, and you stick with the plan.
You write over people's memory
Yeah.
with landing it.
Yes.
Like when you're wandering, it seems not purpose to you. Everything seems justified when you like land it. You get to that reconcile note. Well, sometimes
It's usually not the system. it's the one artist that has a bad frequency in the PA. So usually what I do is I either move the mic physically or I run up onto the amp and dial it. That's how I save the whole system. Because if you don't get it out of the system, it's in there. It's just in the speakers that can't handle it, like the tweeters, it just makes them sound like the whole system is terrible. Like, what's wrong with your equipment? Watch this. Pull the mic away and it's like clarity
power,
again.
yeah.
Yes. And that's my version of Alt Z.
Oh, see, there you go. Imagine if there was a filter for feedback.
Yeah. There
Can you
is.
imagine?
Oh,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Behringer has a tool
Yeah.
that you
It's
can
called
use.
Fade It Out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there,
it really is.
there's this is, I forget what it's called in other platforms because it existed way before Behringer, but that's when it became kind of mainstream to be included in mixers or as a relatively affordable separate device that Behringer calls the Shark, I believe. But what it does is it listens for where there's a spike that usually means feedback, and then it just moves a frequency filter, a parametric EQ, and just kills that frequency
nice.
in real time,
Yes.
and just finds
Automation.
Yeah, it'll
Oh,
find
I
like
love it.
4 of those.
I'm all for it. I
So-
got chips. You know I got chips. I'm from the future.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
This
I mean,
mixer will
I
even do
forgot
that,
you know,
actually.
this guy is, he's Vex. I mean,
I am Vex.
You can hear from the feedback in a lot of old episodes in random times that I don't have
we
that
were
turned
talking
on.
about
But
that
this
earlier.
mixer will do that too.
Before the show started, about looking at the frequency on and the bandwidth on the screen.
Yeah, manually doing it and just killing the spike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like you can see it, and you don't have to hear it anymore.
Shh,
It's
man,
just great.
if you're got stars in your eyes with mastering at this point, if you can get any old cheap plugin that'll give you a spectrograph and kill some spikes with some EQ there, if you can give each individual channel a little bit of its own place to play that's not overlapping other ones subtractively, particularly subtracting mids,
Yeah.
because we hear mids the best. We're the most
Yes.
sensitive to them, so you can pull them out of
I agree.
practically everything but guitar. So if you do that and then you use Isotope Ozone, shout out who's a sponsor to Be Genius from a couple podcasts ago. He's in bed with them, but I love him too. And it's kind of revolutionized the musician mastering their own thing because it does this AI mastering
Yeah.
that gets it so close to
that
where you can.
autonomous is so dangerous.
I'm
Yeah,
too
it's-
old school.
it's
I like to
crazy,
take
man.
I
like
like to touch it up past that
Do you
with my
remember
old
Paint
mastering thoughts,
in
but like
Windows?
it gets so close
Do you remember Paint in Windows?
for sure.
I'd like to take Paint and drop that into my audio, and just kind of like just physically write it out.
There's a term for that. No, there's a thing
Like,
people were doing.
erase it.
like
add a
image
line.
organ.
Yeah.
Where you can get something that will take the image and then convert, say, the vertical to pitch and then the horizontal as time, and then it sweeps and turn an image into a
I've
melody.
seen
Then
some
color
tools
is
like
like
that, but
timbre.
I'm so scared of picking up tools I don't
I
know.
don't consider
what
that
they're
a
for.
tool though. It's a toy.
Yeah, it's
I've
more
seen
of a
them as
toy.
yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I can see that as a toy.
A
And there's,
creative.
there's a lot of new software out there. I mean, such as like Prism, that would seem like a toy, but it's actually extremely important when it comes to like live shows. I mean, it's almost like, when you like open up Windows like media player back in the day, and you had those visualizers that were like super
Yeah.
killer. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still love them.
You know what I mean?
I-
Yeah. So like I
Watch
opened
told
up.
me about that. You can saturate them and
Yeah,
make
you
them.
can change it.
Oh yeah.
And just so
Reverse them and
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
are
and I
making it
could-
moist.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of cool because it
Way
would
to go,
go with the
lads.
wavelength and like the EQ of like the noise.
Huh.
And so like certain mids and certain lows and highs would trigger certain X, Y, and Z. I actually opened up Cinema 4D after a long time the other day, and there was a plugin that changed. You could bring in a song, import a song, and there's a built-in EQ that doesn't filter out the song, but it's whenever this hertz passes this range, it will actually animate X, Y, or Z animation within 3D visually.
Oh.
So I thought that was kind of cool, and I also thought to
And you
myself,
said it's not a toy.
it's a
This is on
toy
that
in
level.
my mind,
It
but it's
sounds like a
also
toy to
it
me.
sounds like a toy to you, but it's also it's
But
something
if it
that
works,
could
no,
This
if it
sounds
works.
it
tool.
it sounds like
Yeah.
it's very tool based. It can be used, you can use it for like live shows and like just completely blow the audience's minds.
Now I have
So-
toy mics that I actually
Toy
put
mics.
underneath an actual mic just to get an added sound.
Interesting. I never
Oh,
So-
thought
it's
of it
great.
that way.
You can get
Compressed
yeah.
treble with high harmonic content. Because a cheaper mic, you lose accuracy, and you have a lot of mid and low roll off. Because cheaper mics are usually vocal oriented, like the old tape recorder mics, right? That pocket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they will have such treble emphasis that they'll internally distort in a way that causes extra even order harmonics. That's like second harmonic, fourth harmonic.
I call
Those-
it the Janis Joplin mode.
Yeah, those are the same harmonics that get enhanced with
Yeah.
tube distortion.
Yeah.
So when you get that nice tube overdrive, what you're interpreting as warmth and a perception of greater volume at the same literal volume
Right.
is more harmonic presence.
It's almost like you're at the concert. Like you can hear that person like screaming across the stage. You know what I mean?
And
Kind of
you
feel.
know, you said the key thing. Live for me is the ultimate, and,
Right.
And to capture live, so you can get it to come out of the board and record out. That
Right.
sounds exactly like you're live.
Right.
That's the real key.
Well, you
Like,
don't
can I find
realize
stuff
how
that-
much harmonic content that you are literally hallucinating when you're perceiving something as live.
Yes.
So
I
when
am
you
hallucinating.
Talking
capture
about like
it,
schizophrenia or something like that almost.
maybe
or?
not as deep, but the fact
Or like
that
secondhand smoke.
when you
That's secondhand
when you then
smoke.
record, well, okay, picture an ideal transducer where you get the exact copy of what's being received as sound where it is. There's other things that it's not going to perceive in the processing that your head's doing.
Look at
Because
him
it's
go.
in this case, it's not processing anything.
He's working it. Like,
So yeah. So you get this perfect copy, and it sounds.
that's what I love about Wise. I've known him for a while.
Less live.
Yeah.
on
You break
one
it
right
down,
now.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on one right now.
It's the same thing with the Google Pixel phone. It has a camera in it that the silicon and the actual Google didn't make that camera. HTC didn't make it. Who's the other company that made the Google Pixel? There's HTC and another company are actually making it, but they're buying the camera chip from someone else. That sensor is not made by that phone company,
Right.
and other phone companies are using the exact same sensor. But what makes it the best cell phone company on the market today, or cell phone camera on the market today, is how advanced Google's post-processing is. When it takes multiple copies of the image in real time and gives you, even in the preview, this HDR. One of the images is
Right.
at one exposure, one's at another, and it's all combining
Right, it compresses it, and it's
Yeah.
we find these cameras nowadays that have higher processing chips.
Hmm.
For example, like there's the 70D and the Canon T7i and the Canon 80D, and recently I purchased the Canon 77D. A lot of people haven't even heard about it
I haven't.
because they re-released they basically took the Canon T7i and the Canon 70D and they merged the two, the perfect video and still camera, and they put the new processor in it. And what it can do is it has a 45-point AF, and it can process like I believe 6 to 7 raw HDR images per second.
Can I
Nice.
share with you
Yeah.
something? That reminds me of the old days on these big 24-channel mixing boards. And like I was like telling the guy, I can't get any more volume. And he goes, roll back anything that's overdone on your EQs. So I go to each channel, roll back just a little bit. He goes, now come here. And he goes, look at this compression. And he turns the compression up, and just the whole room that's what it sounded like. You
All
got
the quiet comes
yeah,
up
you
without
all
all the
these
loud
channels. You
peaking.
roll them back so they're not too high. That would when they can all come up like an orchestra.
Yeah.
And just you can compress the room, and it's like whoa, like
And young folks getting into this, a
Yes.
good way to experience this effect and up your quality of things, particularly with audio, is to use a limiter. A limiter is like a compressor that's a no-brainer. So one way of using a compressor is to make all your quiet stuff louder, but still keep your loud stuff squished. It's like a volume-controlled volume control. It gets too loud, some secret ghost inside turns it down. But meanwhile, turns all the bass level stuff up. A limiter does that intuitively with one lever. So you can put just a couple, hit it lightly, a couple decibels, 2 to 4 decibels of limiter on literally every track, and you'll have an advantage over other people trying to mix tracks together as far as the presence of things and things getting buried.
Damn, this is like a
move,
homeschool
yeah.
education class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can go
actually-
deep,
Wow.
and I wanted to ask you if that new Canon was mirrorless or if the D
No, it
series
wasn't.
was still SLR.
It's it's technically a DSLR. It's not mirrorless, and I just find it interesting that, as phones get better, it kind of reflects everywhere else as far as trying to make something so small
Yeah.
to compact it into a device.
I don't get the advantage of having a mirror flopping around anymore at all.
There is no.
That
well,
seems like a nostalgia move almost.
It is a nostalgic move. I feel like the only reason why they keep the mirror is because.
I mean,
something-
physical
you have-
viewfinder, you
you-
can physically look through the lens.
Right. There's a lot more you can do with controlling the flutter.
I hadn't thought about it as an artistic thing.
And so you can actually simulate a 24 FPS on a 30. And it gives you more of that film look.
Oh, that makes sense. You can throw some throw some
Right, and then
frames
but here's
away,
yeah, exactly.
but
So here you go.
evenly,
You can just
yeah.
like, oh, I'm just gonna throw a film filter on top of it. Yeah.
But I mean,
So-
to go from 30 to 24 FPS, you don't know which frames you're throwing away.
Right.
So to do
you
it
don't
with
want
a
to throw it
higher
all
FPS,
away.
yeah.
Exactly. So I would rather keep everything and then also be capable to shoot in 60 and make it look like 24.
That's what Control Z's for.
I feel
Am I
like
understanding this right?
yeah.
I'm moving up, people.
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
You just Control Z everything you do. You're good to go.
No, I love analog. I love analog.
But yeah, I feel like higher frame rates are another cool move that's finally in the hands of the consumer that a lot of people are just waking up to, because a lot of us are finally having phones with a slow motion mode. Now
Right.
even my older Apple phone still has that slow motion mode, and people are starting to realize that all that is a higher frame rate. So anything you can get a hold of and shoot at a higher frame rate, as long as you light it enough, because that's hard, you have to light the shit out of it. You
Right.
can get these like syrupy slow motion shots that look really pro, but all you're
Right.
doing is slow-mo with a higher frame rate.
Right, and it's interesting because I've had so many people be all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna smash this at 120 like FPS. I'm like, well, it'll kind of look cool.
It's no point
It
unless
does
you're going to
no-
slow it down.
if you're gonna slow it
Yeah,
down,
is it B-roll? Is it going to be
Exactly.
dramatic?
Right.
Like,
So
what
if
are you
you're gonna
doing?
be like
There's people talking at 120. no one's seeing it at 120.
no, exactly.
And even if you can put YouTube up at 60, but when you watch a YouTube video at 60 FPS, it
Right.
feels awkward. It feels surgical.
awkward. And that's another thing too, people, is that you have to remember
It's not
what
familiar.
platform. Yeah, exactly. What platform people are going to be watching it on.
We're used to the judder of 24 and 30.
Exactly.
We've grown up watching TV at 30, and
60 to me just seems too like I'm like
Right?
I get goosebumps.
I
a
feel
little bit.
so-
That's like when
Yeah.
you when you like watch shows that
clinical.
they look kind of like just
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah,
They look
a lot
weird,
of
you know?
HDTV
They look
is
very
like
weird.
that. Where
Yeah.
I'm like,
24 FPS is a very natural, and
Yeah.
it's almost as if it's a little slower for us to help perceive what's going on.
I hugely think that that's a layer.
Yeah.
That each
Perceive.
frame we get a bit more perception time with.
Yeah,
Great word.
it really is, because that way, if things are going too fast, then it's just like you're just like adrenaline rush through your eyes. You're like, I just have to walk away, you know?
Yeah, and then it's subconsciously awkward when it's like a 3-camera sitcom, and you're like, oh man, I can see the seams in the carpet. Someone didn't hammer that down all the way.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's interesting where all this is going. I would really hope to perhaps see like some Zoom recorder technology more implemented in phones, maybe, if you think about it.
Like
We're
the Zoom audio recorders?
Yeah, I remember like the Zoom audio. So the Zoom audio or like Tascams or
Big fan. I have the DR40.
Yeah, Tascams
Yeah.
are like super reliable. I would like to see perhaps some of that technology in our phones, maybe. And it's like
the audio's
just the
behind.
audio,
right?
yeah, exactly. So we're all thinking so visually
Mhm.
and not audio. So
I hugely agree.
yeah,
There's a couple of flagship phones that put a high emphasis on their DAC, which is the digital to audio converter for the sound out to get better sound on the headphones. to be able to take advantage of 24-bit recordings, and the fact that YouTube's already giving you 24-bit audio anyway.
Exactly.
If you're getting HD enough, it's usually highly compressed. It's get that swirly MP3
Right.
sound to it, but the dynamic range is there. So that's only output though. There's no love for that input. We're still using the same telephone microphones.
So we would have to find out a way, because I know that my phone is capable at recording at 42-bit.
I actually have some huge recommendations.
Okay.
In the iPhone universe, I'm using the Blue microphone that they stopped making. That I hope they make again. It's called the Blue Mikey. That
I think
was
I know what
my
you're talking about. The little tiny
yeah. It's
blue-
actually right there on
that
the,
thing
on the
right
Facebook
there.
broadcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How
Yeah.
come we can't use the interface to a phone?
Well, that's
on the
what this
input?
actually is.
Yeah.
So right now I'm using the line or microphone or guitar or whatever physical input on it. So the mics on the Blue Mikey are not in use right now, but I can still take advantage of automatic compression. If I overload it, it won't clip. It just starts to just compress if I give it too thick audio. That means
Copy
it can
that.
take a guitar signal too. And then it's super handy, but if you can't get it because it's not made anymore, there's unfortunately they're all $100, but Shure's got one. Nady has one that's really popular. Samson's got their hat in the ring. They tend to be more directional microphones than that one is. That's why I chose that one. And its auto gain action really helps drum
Is that the one
cymbals
you
not
used
be as
out
mean.
at the Funkyard?
Yeah, so all the
Oh, that's a
Funkyard
nice
live
mic.
stuff is on that
Really?
mic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
to
I heard
get
the
that,
playback. It's
the
really
best
good.
mic on a
Nice.
phone I've heard personally worked with has been that fella. But from reviews and stuff, the Nady and the Shure don't seem like they're that far behind. I just couldn't trust them with drum cymbals specifically as much.
And it came with
in
the-
the demos I saw.
Did it come with the sponge or was it cloth?
Yeah,
the
nice
filter?
little cloth baggie,
Yeah,
like all the
nice.
blue stuff. I'm a
And
big
you
blue
used it
fan
as a
too.
filter.
Okay.
Didn't you use it as a filter, the cloth bag?
I did with wind. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So wind filter then.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. I just recently bought one of those Rode microphones that you mount on the top of your camera.
Yeah,
And there's-
super popular.
Yeah, and so
Big difference.
I saw this one microphone that was for $50, and it was just like the standard one.
And Rode has a phone one too.
Yeah, and they have a phone one. They have one that I found for like DSLR cameras for $50. Then the next step up was $150, and it took its own batteries. But the cool thing about it was, it had a high range frequency filter already built in. So, and that already, I noticed, took out a lot of the noise when it came into like background noises,
Killer.
AC,
Yeah.
like a lot of this air that comes in sometimes.
And it's counterintuitive because people tend to, with voice,
Right.
have a treble shelf.
Right. Well, the thing is that it had an on
Bust
and
up
off
that
button.
treble.
It had,
Ah.
it had a high frequency on and off button.
That's so cool and
that-
unusual because usually you have whatever treble it's got, and mics like that often have a treble boost secretly
Right.
in them too,
Exactly.
for vocals to
so
sound
it's
more
taking up
detailed.
the mids and just kind of like pushing the mids up to highs and cutting off what was above it prior.
Yeah, so you get some of those low highs that still have all
Yeah.
the kind of
Exactly.
sounds where all the vocal detail is. And instead of having the bass cut that they tend to always have for handling noise. That's a new way of thinking about it. That's really cool in that mic. And in the Android phones, the mics like that tend to just plug into the headphone jack and use the built-in DAC. So I'd love to see some Android devices that have their own
Right.
DAC, or in this case, ADC, analog to digital converter, and then externally, like the Blue mic definitely does. It plugs into the port on there, that Apple Blast port. Plug into that
Apple Blast.
that lightning and thunder hole. So it Apple blasts it in as data, but it's funny because some apps will glitch, and I'll play it back, and the 24 to 16-bit conversion will make it.
Right.
Or it'll do some. That's not from that. It's
Then it
from
goes
the.
back to the guy who's really got the good ear, knows where to put the mic.
Well, I have
Yeah,
some
it's always
recordings
about that good ear,
Yeah.
man.
that are like crazy slow motion because it messed
you don't
up
need all this
the
equipment. Put the mic right here.
Just right here.
the
you
hertz.
know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's had some snafus with certain apps, but most apps it just works in. It was like a really shitty audio recorder that I'd play back. You know, you check the reviews, you think you're getting the best random stupid audio recorder, but the most popular one isn't always the one that doesn't play all your stuff super slow-mo and you play it for no reason.
Right.
Anyway, that got a little techie. We should chug
That was
some.
great.
Yeah.
You guys, it's the top of the broadcast. This is when we talk about some commercials. I mean sponsors. But
Gotta
like,
advertise.
yeah.
Money.
And,
Got it.
Got it.
We
So-
need money.
I know you're gonna fast forward, but we're gonna say some funny shit in between
Don't
some of these
fast forward.
fellas. Yeah, don't. Come on, hang out a little bit.
Don't do it,
In
please.
fact, any of the people we mention in the next couple minutes, if you mention RadioVegas.rocks to them, you can get some kind of thing happen. Like you can mention RadioVegas.rocks to
Vegas
Pinche's Tacos, and you will get a free Gringo Taco.
Gringo
with-
tacos.
Yeah, which is
Oh,
like all
snap.
these delicious coastal tacos and one oversized one mixed together. You get that for free with the purchase of a blood orange margarita, as long as you mention RadioVegas.rocks. Naked City Pizza. This is only at one of the locations, so you might have to try this out at all of them repeatedly anyway to get them all on board. But Naked City Pizza's got some kind of deal with mentioning RadioVegas.rocks. But they're awesome anyway. You get them pepperoni cups. We love the pepperoni cups. So that's the old classic that we love to
That was
death.
the
Not that
analog
they're
sound
old.
effect.
Yeah,
that-
you
that
know,
was a
some
very good
some
analog.
orchestra went like a safe door. Cold cock whiskey. If you're,
Yeah.
this is
Party
a shout
time.
out to the Facebook algorithm, which sometimes wants to block me from advertising because of seeing the word cock on that banner. But it's one whole
so
word,
messed up.
cold cock. That's normally referring to a punch to the face like that whiskey gives you,
Right.
but delicate. It's not that. It's not so heartburny and mean. It goes down cozy.
It's it's like that nice little winter's drink, you know.
Yeah,
An
nice winter's
Alaskan
drink.
rooster.
Oh, we've got a new one too. You know, you can get all that legal weed in town, and a killer place to get it from is, check it out, Emerald Essence.
Dude,
Emerald,
actually, Emerald Essence is the shit. Dude.
right? You an Emerald Essence fan already?
No, I already am. Yeah.
Boom.
Like.
Have you had them delivered to you? It's a delivery thing.
Yeah,
going
I
on, right?
actually have had them delivered to me. I remember I was over at my friend Peter's house, and as usual, sometimes we get a little crazy over there. And the following morning, we're all like, "Dude, I just don't feel like moving at all." And then I was like, "Bro, like, should we just drive? Just drive the dispensary. Let's just go." And he's like, "No, we're gonna have it delivered.
We're gonna get
We're
that
gonna get that."
It's like a revelation.
Yeah, it
Emerald,
was, dude. It was. Oh my gosh.
Emerald
Yeah.
Essence.
You don't have to drive anywhere. You just get it delivered to your house.
Yeah, that's
It
pretty
was-
awesome.
Yeah, it was really sweet. Actually.
Well, that's the way it was done back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
actually,
And
yeah.
the Lord knows.
Doctor's
Keep
orders,
telling me.
man.
Right.
Doctor's orders. Oh, yeah.
That was my job in 2010 before all the raids. Man, I was like half legal on that. Oh, geez.
yeah, yes.
Pre-legal.
exactly.
Yeah.
Illegal.
I still had to
That's
get
how
it
I like
from
to see it
NorCal.
as. Like,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, we were all kind of doing this already anyway.
Yeah, I was just ahead of my
Like,
time. That's
just-
all.
That was gnarly, though. I was bringing it in from NorCal, Emerald Triangle style, because you can't bring it across the borders, like legally.
Directly.
But once it was here, then you could provide someone with it, and that could be indirectly tied to them providing a donation. You just could not, by under any means, sell it to them.
Right.
They could join your collective and sign something that you are part of a caregiver group, fellowship, and then
Fellowship
they
of the
could
Bugs.
donate, and then you could donate to them, and that was it. So I bring it to them, and then, man, buddies of mine were having the feds show up, immediately shoot the dog.
See, oh my gosh.
The first thing
Oh,
to do,
Jesus.
if
Yeah,
there was a
that's
dog
what
in
the
the
feds
dispensary,
do.
they would
Yeah.
shoot it immediately.
We're gonna take your weed and shoot your dog.
Yeah.
Like,
So
this is what they do.
everyone was putting zip ties behind their back, shot the dog right away, and then they would take the Xbox, they'd take any fun thing there, leave behind
It's
a
like, yeah,
laptop full
we're
of records,
bored at
leave
our
behind a
office, we're
file
taking your
cabinet.
Xbox.
Yeah, it was
Right, too.
ridiculous.
The
Yeah.
munchies too, didn't they?
It was all a shakedown.
Yeah.
Raid the fridge, take the Xbox, push over the file cabinet, make a big mess, take very few files, leave behind some of the administrative computers randomly. Like, why not take that? Whatever.
Right.
Well, because then they'd have the obligation to look through that for actual evidence
Bullying.
when this is
Yeah.
a shakedown mission.
Right.
So that was 2010 in Las Vegas for weed.
Actually, I experienced somewhat of the same thing in Denver, Colorado.
Oh.
And in Denver, Colorado, they made it recreational in 2014, January 1st. I remember walking home from downtown hungover, and there's a huge line around this building. I was like, what the heck is going on? And this guy from New Jersey was all like, hey, I've been waiting in the line since last night. I was like, oh, yeah, today's the day. And so basically, I remember I was one of those few that had their medical cards in Colorado from like 2008, and I had like some surgeries done. You know, I wrecked my myself on her longboard really bad, but over that, what happened was, I'm talking about that.
Now this
And
is
so-
still commercials, mind
This
you.
is still-
Keep going.
This is, still
This is
commercial-
part of it. Yeah.
So what happened was
This is part of our Emerald Lessons commercial.
so
long format.
what happened was, it really was like medical marijuana that actually helped me get over a lot of the struggles in recovery, and I still use it to this day. And the fact that, it's like the delivery service in my mind is more of a socialistic thing than ever.
For sure.
So
Excuse me. Oh, that's another thing. If you have to like burp or cough, we encourage you to turn into a distant muted scream so that the audience can
Correct.
feel the shade and fraud of you suffering from needing to
and
make
not
a
actually
gross
having
noise.
to hear it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some people like a good burp. Others don't.
Like,
I hate chewing noises.
Like-
I hate any noise I make other than my like fabulous and self-endearing thoughts on the mic. So I try to turn anything else into a distant scream. So that's just a running thing. Yeah, just to share. Do that with your home, with your family, together over
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Just make sure you cough into that shoulder. Be respectful. Whenever you hit that cush, cough into your shoulder. Be
do
respectful.
they have any?
Do they?
Emerald Essence, y'all.
Emerald Essence.
Cough into your shoulder.
Get the app.
There's some other juicy ones. Forgive me, folks, like strip and dip chicken that I don't mention enough. Man,
That place is the bomb, man.
their chicken is calibrated for the dips.
I like chicken.
Oh, we all
I
do.
like how you're just so
But-
accurate.
Can we
when
go
it
get
comes to
some
the
after
sauce.
this? I'll buy it.
Yeah, whatever the
Sure.
whatever the
I
dip.
love chicken.
Honestly, I've got something to fix and swap out in the other studio afterwards. I might not be able to run right away, but Radio Vegas rocks mentioned them to strip and dip chicken. Man, when you're talking about a substrate for which to put upon a sauce, strip and dip chicken all day, and the plethora of sauces they got
I like that
lined
word.
up in front of you.
Say it again.
Plethora.
It's the labyrinth of flavors.
Ah, plethora.
Oh, that was on Lion King.
Do you recognize the?
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Ooh,
I
yeah.
thought you meant the
Say it
stinger.
again. Oh yeah, say it again.
I thought the stinger was from Lion King. That's
Say it
funny.
again.
You guys.
There you go.
I came in a boy. You'll have
always
to
think
shut
of,
up while I make my Lion King notes.
Savannah, Donna. I don't know.
I'm gonna move.
Harmon Boulevard.
This is becoming too self-indulgent. I'm having fun at the expense of everybody right now. Sorry. Get ready.
Thanks, man.
It's okay.
So-
you got credit.
Hey, so there's this thing, dishes. You can put a dish on your house. You can ditch the cable folk. You can dish it up. Dish yourself. Here's a number for that. Dish.
800-293-0328.
Dish it up.
800-293-0328.
Dish
That's
time.
800-293-0328.
Real number. Mention RadioVegas.rocks to them, and whether you dish it or not, they're gonna keep note and keep tossing us a couple times to keep these lights here on. Okay, airlines, airplane time. We were talking about doing an analog. If you don't want to
I love that.
climb
Oh,
up on your
yeah.
screen to get your you want to get airplane time on the phone. This is your airplane call. Low cost airlines, they've been around a long time. They're your folks to get airplane time on the phone. Call them up. Mention RadioVegas.rocks. You'll get an airplane inside another airplane that will awkwardly not function, but you'll get to look at. I can't promise this. I can only promise that they'll talk to you about airplanes.
800-515-2397.
Airplanes.
800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
All day
I
in the
love
air.
airplanes.
It's like a,
Airtime. I'm flying, man.
yeah, magic tube in the sky. flying
Magic
through the
tube
air.
in the sky.
National Treatment Advisors, real talk. You guys, I totally went the longest without drinking that I have in months. I went like 5 days.
Wow, sober
Like
October.
5.5, yeah.
There you go.
That's my sober October. I know you're following.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, actually, there's
Bert
a lot of
Kreischer,
people
Tom
that have been
Segura.
doing it.
Yeah.
Like they're all like, "Hey man, I'm gonna try this sober October deal. Try to clean out my kidneys and my liver." And then they're all like 4 days later, they're all like, "Oh man, I'm so hungover," and they're having a beer at the bar. I'm
3
like,
days is the hard point because that's when you're reminded that I was having like a beer or two after work most days.
Right, and it
but after
feels nice.
3 days, that's when you hit actual withdrawal. It doesn't just happen
Right.
right away. And that's when you start to get like this weird late hangover, and you're like, oh, I could solve it. Just toss another one down. So like 5.5 was really hard. Next step will be a week. It always.
Back in my days, one beer was, I called it, I'm just inducing hops and barley and rice.
Yeah, it's
Right.
that hop
That's
touch.
all I'm doing.
That's all I'm doing. It's just, I'm just getting my calories in for you
Yes.
know with my lunch. You know
I
what
want to
mean?
be able to lean on it as like a social lubricant to inhibit, you know,
It is
your-
actually a great social lubricant.
Inhibit
yeah,
what? The dry heave?
self awareness. I meant like inhibition. Yeah.
Self-awareness.
Inhibit inhibition. I
This
guess
is
is what I
like,
was trying to
bro,
say
I just
weirdly.
had this fucking.
I'm too self-aware right now. I gotta drink. That's the deal. Like, oh no, I've reached too much
I'm
nirvana.
over-empowered.
Overpowered. It's like this, like
I have
my.
Too enlightened.
Too many brain cells.
It's like your third eye starts to open and it starts talking. It's like, "Burp," you know, like.
Real
burps,
talk
you know?
though, stupid people get more done. And sometimes I'm looking at something and I'm like, oh, I know how to do this.
yeah.
But I'm
That's
so daunted.
true. Yeah.
Video edit is the hardest thing.
Stupid people
For
are
me
good
Oh,
at
to
you're trying.
just
Oh, video
get
editing
up
drums or
dumb.
something, or yeah.
I have a really bad problem with
They do
being
good,
able to
though.
video edit sober because I'll get intimidated by the project. But when I sit down and treat it like a dumb person and just start cutting the meat, something cool happens and maybe I'll touch it up sober at the
Right.
end, clean it up at the end.
Right.
And it's a bad habit because I would do it better sober, but it's just the intimidation factor.
Right. So whenever I know I have a long time of editing ahead of me, it's like I don't think about it. But then sometimes I go to bed and I can't sleep, and it's like I just like my mind's racing. That's when I go downstairs and I start editing, and that's when I just chop it out. Like I take like maybe like 4 hours worth of footage and make like 3 different like video clips out of it. But I've also realized it's like, but if you have to work, if you know you have to get it done, and you're like kind of a little stressed out about it, and you're all like, crap, I have to sit in my chair.
Yeah, actual job status.
Job
Yeah.
status. Sit in my chair for 8 hours and cram this out. It's like sometimes you kind of like, you know, give yourself some self credit. Be all like, you know what? I think
Is that for the
think I-
younger?
That's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
move.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I
a
think
good-
you're onto a
younger
Yeah,
legit
I was
tip
like, you know,
though.
maybe I think
Learn
if
to
I
write
yeah.
it out, kids.
Yeah, write it out. I was like, I think I'm just gonna, you know, I'll just have a beer and like just sit down.
Oh my God,
Make
that's me
sure
every
that
time.
my legs are a little bit loose so that you know this editing doesn't seem as bad. And then 1 turns into 6, and then so I could see where you're coming from, and you know, but at the same time, it's like, you know, when you're trying to do a professional job, when you're drunk and you're editing, you're all like, "Oh man, this looks awesome!"
Yeah.
And then
And your
when
buddy
then
comes
the
over
next
with more
morning,
beer.
you're like, "What the fuck? What is this?"
I never turn it in that way.
Yeah. It's like,
There's always
Control
always a
Z,
next
Control
morning
Z.
on the schedule. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, save a lot of snapshots. There's always a lot of double check the next morning. But also, like, as a Final Cut editor, I swear they made it for, like, I guess, to be honest, they made it for,
That's
like,
fair.
the on one hand, the dumbest, but on the other hand, the most artistic. Because, I mean,
Right,
the more,
there's
you
no
might be
technical
really
things
that you have
strong
to
in, like, a
learn, yeah.
visual eye, and that could take up brain strength from understanding these technical things that are just, like, nicely tucked away in
It's
Final Cut,
user
out of the
friendly.
way.
Not say
Boy, is it
dumb or
though.
work on it drunk. Just
Yeah.
say user friendly.
It's definitely built for that. It's like someone drunk insisted on how this was designed at some stage. Because like there's some things that's like, oh, thank God that lit up and reminded me that, like, oh, my stupid magnet's off again because I blumped on the keyboard. So I've got all these like blank frames because the magnet not being on. But I got a
You
light.
just
There's a
laugh
light
at
for
it.
that. I fucking can tell.
He's just laughing at
Yeah,
it.
I'm laughing.
I
at my-
remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
You all know what I mean.
I'm here.
right?
I'm here rubbing my face because
Yeah.
I've been there before.
Do you guys like get up the next morning and like just watch and you're like, damn, I was on one.
Yeah, dude. Actually, you know, I've actually made some pretty cool edits.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say there's a
Actually,
pocket.
still do that.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
did it in the pocket,
Yeah,
then
you
you
gotta
come
get it
back
in
the
the
next
pocket.
day and you're just like, oh, just the little things I missed, a couple things I was almost there.
Okay, so
if you did it in the pocket,
Right.
not like drunk,
right, in
that's
your,
that
yeah,
pocket
exactly.
buzz.
In the pocket, you're like in that
Yeah.
perfect medium.
The-
You know what I mean?
which is hard to achieve the pocket.
Right.
Nor
You-
is it
sometimes
healthy
you
to always
overshoot.
hunt this stupid
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah. So, Vex.
Yes.
Would you say that sometimes being in the pocket would it be easier on your hands and wrists playing guitar?
Yes. And on my back.
That's a
Oh,
physical
yeah.
pocket.
That's a very
Definitely
cool
on my,
pocket.
no, definitely on my back.
Do you
because
play a lot of guitar in your
Playing,
back?
yes. No,
That's hot.
I do not like to play
Little
sitting
pocket
down.
guitars.
I
Oh,
don't
well,
believe
yeah.
in playing sitting down because everything I do is live, live audio, live video. Everything is
Right.
live, so I have to stand playing even at home.
And you're running around setting up everything.
Yes, and I got a guitar wireless, and I'm running around doing sound, I'm doing my own sound.
Right.
You know, but yes, on my hands, it's a physical thing, and I always express to my students in the past, um, if you're taking up any technical or any career, it needs to be physical. You need to be in shape for it. No matter what you do, you need to be in shape for it.
Mm.
And whether
That's
it's rolling
so
something in your
reluctantly true.
hand,
Yeah.
moving something on your arm, doing a couple of squats, you got to do it.
And not
It
only are
affects
you
the mind so
right,
much,
not
yeah.
only
We're not in space where there's zero gravity, so we have gravity as our enemy.
Well, it affects your mind
And our
too.
friend.
You get such a sleepy, lazy mind when your body is like that. So like getting up, shaking your blood around, getting your blood all sloshed around, doing some kind of movement.
slosh
Yeah.
blood.
like
Staying
Yeah.
someone that like can like at least pop a little sprint now and then.
Yeah.
At least that kind of status really it keeps the mind more awake too.
Right.
It helps me avoid wanting that pocket so much when I have that feeling of a navel.
And that's the advantage of drinking beer, because then you'll get up out of your chair and go to the bathroom.
Uh,
Yeah, am I justifying this or what?
well, yeah, I know.
And I might as well get another beer.
I hate to admit that, like,
Right.
that
But
I get
hey,
a bit of
I-
energy from
so,
that pocket
Waz,
too.
I have not drank or did drugs or cigarettes. I got other bad behavior, but I haven't done those things. On the 28th, be 9 years.
Dang, I know,
Nice,
I'm
man.
so jealous.
And I did it
High
mostly
five.
because
I know that you're one of the
mostly
people I look
because
to
I
to
do
learn how to
live
do that.
shows, and I notice
Yeah.
I can't do it anything.
Too much
Yeah,
responsibility.
it's
Yeah.
way too much.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for the
Yeah.
whole show. So
And you're also was what keeping Funkyard alive, and to me that's a huge responsibility.
you.
And not
Yeah,
only-
Funkyard behind the rebar. Funkyard,
And so I just feel like
It's just a trailer in Dirt Park.
yeah, and
the best trailer. in
the
front of
best
the
trailer
park.
park. I just feel like you said earlier, you have to be in good shape to keep up with everything. But I also feel like this is what's keeping you in good shape.
Yes, like I said, if you remind yourself that whatever you do, whatever career you choose, you must make it physical. You must keep your health up,
Right.
and whatever you do, make sure you have great posture, which is somewhat.
Yeah,
good
posture.
I'm looking
posture's
around the room.
everything.
It really
Yeah, I
is.
got-
I mean,
man.
you want longevity. You
know.
want to do those long edits.
This guy
Yes.
over here. Jeez.
Get up out of your chair once in a while and let the cushion rise up, and you'll say, "Oh,
Cushion
there's
edge.
still- feels new again." Well, you got to
Yeah.
let it fluff up a little bit.
Fluff
No,
it
but it really is. Being physical in a physical world, it has to be taken care of, and it's a healthy thing to do.
Right.
And healthy is responsible to yourself, responsible to others, and most of all, being responsible means get your ass go up to work.
People forget you get free sleep too. You don't require
free
as much
One-third
sleep
almost
if you.
of the day.
Well, no,
It's
I
like
mean
that'd be such
you
a
literally require
horrible-
less sleep if you
Where-
have more exercise.
Where do I go when I sleep?
Like
Does
those-
anybody
It's a
know?
world
The-
like
Do I
you
really
can't
stay
sleep.
Oh
there?
God.
I swear I'm somewhere else. How
You're
about
gonna
you?
do another
Where
hole
do you-
beyond my
yeah,
point.
Where do you go when you sleep?
I usually either crash on my friend's couch or my bed or.
I
on
was
the-
gonna
on the
hope you were
floor,
saying
like,
back
like,
to the editing room.
back to the editing room. That too. I mean
like
that
I'm
too,
sleeping,
man.
working.
Oh, dude, like
Yeah,
you
Lord
know,
knows you redo a lot
Yeah.
of your day in the sleep sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I wish I could.
It's you can.
I wish I
Have it
could
actually done.
allocate some sleep time like the zombie into my editing room.
I swear I've done
That'd be
that
great.
though when I've gotten into a
I
zone
believe you have too.
that like and
I'll
you're
swear by
only
it, too.
needing like 6
Yeah, you
hours
did.
of sleep because some of that zone was
Yeah,
just
you're
like
not- you're not
so
moving
half awake
around.
anyway.
Right, and I feel like some of the. I mean, if you maintain a very eased mind while you're editing, if you're sitting down for like 6 to 8 hours, like editing, like even just 5 hours, like you are actually still giving your body some rest. But at the same time, it's like if you're moving around in your chair like a lot, it's uncomfortable or whatever.
It's
Yeah.
called poor circulation.
There you go. Well,
It's
we're-
basic.
well, that's true. That's very
It is pork.
basic.
Some
Sitting down
people
is
just
pork.
I just
fancy
feel
though.
like-
Honest, every 15 minutes,
Yeah.
I'm up and bopping around. Remember
I
at
have
work?
to.
Well, that's good.
You always saw
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Right, you have to get up and around.
Yeah, I just gotta.
I want like a bungee chair, so that way when I can
Oh
move
yeah, that's right.
and I can move around the room.
Hey, did
and still
anyone
be
as a
sitting.
kid get the
Yeah.
little air seat?
Yeah, like the
You
jumper
know?
in the baby seat.
Yeah, where you
You
got
know,
the-
you hang
not
it
the-
from the middle
Well,
of
not
the
the
door.
not the
What's he talking
jumping
about?
seat,
No,
but
but
it's
I
like,
want
like
one like that.
I would
No,
love one.
can I
You
have
should
one
make
like
an
that?
adult one.
Can we
me
find a
some,
sponsor
give me some
like that?
details on this because I do not know what you're talking about.
Okay, so it's like so when kids were young, they're like like parents were like driving crazy
And they
with
could
their
sit up.
kids, like like well, no, so that's okay. What I'm talking about is a little different. There's the jumping seat where it gives the kid like some stigma to move around, which is great. Works out the legs, he's a baby. But if he's like in like 3rd or 4th or 5th grade, and he can't focus because he has to move around because you're a young male, you got all this testosterone
Like
signaling up in your brain.
Like the walkers?
It's not the walkers. It's like a little air bubble seat. You
That
put
sounds
it,
cool.
You
Little
put
air
it
cushion.
under, you sit on it.
Yeah.
And what's funny about it is it's disbalanced. So if you do this, it makes you go this way.
But it's not like sitting on an exercise ball.
No,
It's not as
It's
all the
flat.
way.
It's a flat air, but there's only a certain amount of air in where
Excuse me.
it does this. It does this disbalancing.
Nice.
Where
I'm
it
into
kind of
that.
gives you like a background.
I was one of those sit on the exercise balls guys for a while.
Me too. Yeah, but this is not an exercise ball. It's like something that's like more formal and
Yeah.
will throw you off your seat.
Because that's in it. Like
know.
at my height, the ball takes like half the stupid bedroom.
Right, right.
Because
Well,
I can't
this
use
is
one of
a-
them little baby balls.
This one is actually it's like high density. I'll look it up for you. It's like a high density.
A part of
like
me is
air-
picturing I'm gonna make one, as
Yeah,
Yeah,
unrealistic
it's not
as
air
that
foam.
is.
It's like a imagine
gel.
imagine a basketball that looks like a pancake,
Oh yeah.
and you sit
All
on
right.
it.
Why don't we start with a deflated basketball and see
This
what we
should-
got?
Actually, the concept came from a deflated basketball.
Oh shit!
Mm.
Life
So there
hack,
you
you
go.
guys.
Life hack. Seriously.
I want to bring up something else that's before we get too far off of it, as far as like tips for the tasks, like we were talking about,
Yeah,
like the way
longevity of
a
editing.
long video edit just is unavoidably a large period of time, and that makes it kind of daunting. But one tip that applies to a ton of things that I can't bring up enough, especially to remind myself, is the Buddhist method of breaking things into smaller tasks. Maybe I'm giving too much credit to
No,
Buddhism
no,
because they
that's
push
great.
this a lot, but breaking things into smaller, more bite-sized tasks and just like, okay, I do this task, lists within lists. I'm doing this step and there's this list of things in this step. Let's just do one of these things on the list and just get started. And then you get momentum because getting started is the hardest
Right.
to get yourself, because then your emotions are behind it once you get started and
Right.
you're just rolling on that. At first you're like, your subconscious never wants to do anything different than what you're already doing.
Right.
So what do you think mine would be, Chris? My longevity thing.
A
Well,
longevity. Well, what I like about what you're doing already is you're up and around, you're moving, and you're playing. But I also know that you're really burnt out from a lot of this at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I feel like.
and then I got to go home and edit.
And then you got to home and edit.
Yeah.
So I feel like for you, what would really work out is you have a scheduled break times.
That sounds good, but let me tell you what it really comes down to. If I had a little more money, which it could happen, I would like to have an IV, and
Carry on.
yes, an IV, and
Keep you hydrated.
no, and oxygen in my nose, and an IV.
Oxygen.
and I
does
could
it
probably
fast.
edit a lot more through the night.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel
I
like
bet you
that's
I
a-
could.
Bud
Yeah.
Light Platinum in the
Yeah.
IV.
Yes,
Right.
that's the plan.
I'd be.
That's my super editing tool for the people that have the money to do it,
Right. And,
or the cousin that has a facility, the
Right.
clinic facility.
And just get the nutrients in the IV.
Yeah, you got the nerd. You
know,
don't have to get up.
You know.
Oh, the
And then-
colostomy bag.
Oh yeah, there you go. Get a colostomy bag.
Oh my God.
Actually, and then
Yeah.
you know how like you have those camelbacks that
Yeah.
you know.
In the
so
camel
you
bag,
just
you got
you
it.
just put the IV in the
Oh, no,
camel
in
bag.
the new camelback because you got like juice on one side, water on the other side.
That's a thing now?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Wow, it's the
It is a
future.
thing.
You
Double
like slap
camelback.
the well, he's from.
It
the
all starts
future,
with an
so
idea,
don't
right?
even
Oh, that's
realize.
right. We know that in the future we
Yeah.
have these things.
Yep.
Hey, did you pay attention to any stocks in the future before you head back here in the past?
Yeah.
Yes.
How's BTC?
It's-
They all
How's
they all
it going?
crashed.
Yeah, it's all crashed.
The-
Everything
no,
crashed.
Listen,
Yeah.
you did ask. The stock is wildebeest.
Oh, it's all the wildebeest.
Well, you know,
Wildebeest.
Oh, man.
there's
You
so
guys.
many of them. There's so many of them out there, and somebody's going to say there's some food sources.
You know what's great about that
That's your future
wildebeest thing?
stock.
So
Wildebeest.
Are they wild up on Mars?
It,
like
you know,
growing
it
or
doesn't
something?
matter. You know, barbecue sauce, and it's all good.
dude, the wildebeest emoji,
Yeah.
highly underrated, highly underused.
Yeah.
It's funny, like next to the song Lime Rain, that's on my SoundCloud,
Yes,
shout out.
I like that one.
Right next to it is this one called Nargles
Nargles.
that the full name of it also includes a ton of the wildebeest emoji. If you're really talking about the proper name of this musical piece.
Here we
So
are.
it's
with
great.
emojis,
Yeah,
man.
you brought
Yeah.
it full circle, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Full circle.
That's what it's all about.
Intense.
From space.
Oh snap! We just landed back with Vex.
One thing Drescher hasn't been around enough to realize is that I still to this day only remember where a couple of these stingers actually are. So it's like stinger roulette half the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
This
Kind of
one.
sound like a toilet one.
Behold, Greasy Conversation Podcast. Tell all your friends. Ooh. Yeah.
That sound like.
I just like a little bit of this one. I just like,
Right.
because I leave it too long and I think there's a plane landing and I'm like, why didn't I get rid of that?
It sounds like War of the Worlds is landing. To
Yeah.
Be honest.
That sounds like one of my bad edits.
Oh, it sounds like
Got to take the gain out.
That's that beeping one. That's
Just
my
like-
submarine one.
Just stinger fun.
Oh,
Stinger museum.
we seriously have a reoccurring segment where it's like, yeah, let's listen to 3 or 4 of these in a
Yeah.
row. It's the same ones. Hey, you guys, Greasy Conversation Podcast, it's like family.
Yeah,
How's
and
that?
where's this family going? I mean, look, we got a lot of intelligent
Yeah, we're
minds.
going right here.
all doing our own thing.
Family.
right.
Are we doing this now yearly? Or
We're
now
like
quarterly?
brother husbands.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
sister wives, but
There you go.
Brother
The
husband.
three,
Yeah.
Brother husband.
the,
Sister
the,
wives, brother
the
husband.
three blind spacemen,
3 blind
or the
spacemen.
fourth, and
Fourth.
No.
We had the one guy that was left on Earth.
the 3 blind spacemen and the captain over here.
Oh, sweet. I'm the captain.
Oh, I gotta be the captain.
oh, speaking
want-
about
Look at
captain,
you got your own spaceship over there.
You
I
guys-
don't want all that responsibility,
hey,
man.
I've
Somebody's
got,
got it.
Hey, well, you got to go down with the ship, man.
Oh.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, that,
there's,
That was good. That was
well,
good.
that was purposeful as an actual defining moment because we've got to get into a special segment. It's a remedial segment because some segments are remedial, whatever that means. This is called News Chug because there's so many. I know there's at least a couple juicy newses.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few.
Did
You'll have to break them down. I didn't get into these ones.
That's okay.
Um,
Gladly.
yeah.
Prepared.
No, this one I like to. A Marine pilot that traced a penis shape over California.
Yes, we have 2 pieces in the military news category. Ongoing investigation in
Yes.
Marines pilot. This case is actually the second in the last few years. I think the last one was back in 2014, but it might have been more recently, in which a rogue military pilot traced a penis shape in the sky. This time, though, the penis was not visible from the ground. Only other people that would be like monitoring radar or something. So
That's hilarious. In
It's-
your face.
it's
Yeah.
actually pretty amazing that any civilian agency discovered this airborne
like FAA.
phallus.
stuff.
Yeah.
Radar specialists.
It seemed to be the kind of thing, in my opinion, that was like an inside joke, military to military, where only some captain he was pissed at would see it on the screen or something.
It's like
But
thought they were like messing with him or something.
it was detected by civilians, and now it's being investigated.
All
Womp womp.
right.
Yeah.
Tar and feather.
So we can't have that military money, those civilian tax dollars going to waste with making air wieners.
Yeah.
Wasting
Right. No, I
civilian
can't do
That-
that.
That's
No,
probably a
can't do
better
that.
use of the money, actually.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Imagine
probably
if
at least
we had.
learning something.
Imagine if we had like astronauts returning from the International Space
Welcome
Station.
home,
Like,
Wiener.
welcome home. There's a giant like penis shape in the sky. They're like, oh, you guys.
Turns out it's just for the Chinese space station to
Well,
see.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's
They
just
fly,
like a retrieval.
fly the
retrieval.
space shuttle through it.
Magical.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
we
this
got a
is
target.
if this is only being investigated because it was discovered by a civilian agency, it makes you wonder like how often
Yeah.
are these pilots just like drawing penises all over the sky?
There's
Like,
fighter
you
jet
just have,
wieners
like-
all day.
or other things.
Yeah,
Could be.
these giant sky wings
I could
could
see
be
Sky
staring
clamps.
down on
Yeah,
I
they
could
could be
see-
making UFOs out of clouds.
I mean, the clouds can like shape. They can use the
Yeah,
HARP
making
system
it.
to make like a target, like a big giant target.
Or selling documentation.
Yeah,
in
across-
certain countries or whatever. we
Who
feel
knows?
like.
Designer harp clouds. It's
Yeah,
like a
designer
Versace clouds.
Yeah,
and stuff.
hey, there we go.
Dolce and
Our new
Gabbana
sponsor.
clouds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dolce
Oh,
and
man.
Gabbana.
That's
Is
what
that-
harp is really funded by.
That's
It's
gonna be
like
the future
deep,
too. What, we're just gonna have like cloud ads.
Right.
deep designer fashions working behind the
Cloudvertising.
weather control industry to like designer
man.
weather.
Oh, design. I like that.
Just
Right.
like the
Coach
whole
weather.
sky
It's
is
the
just
new-
like the Louis Vuitton
And Prince will be
Yeah.
proud.
pattern.
We'll finally get purple rain.
Dude, if we don't have like repeating like step and repeat Louis Vuitton patterns in the clouds in the sky by the time we die,
Yeah.
we didn't see the future.
No.
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't.
true.
That's
Well,
an
and we
inevitability
do
for
have it
sure.
in the future.
Vex, is there a designer clouds in the sky?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
can't
right.
tell you which companies because that infringes some of the sponsorship.
It's the big vaporizer juice companies
But
because
be
it's just like
prepared.
vape clouds
Be
doing it.
prepared. You
It's
will
just
end up
jets
in
of
the
vapes. There's
You
just
will
people
end
vaping out their windows. They just do it right on time.
Upon sunset, would you like blueberry, raspberry? Or...
Oh man,
It smells good too. Like,
Yeah,
oh, it really
the
whole
smells like a
plane.
military operation right here.
whole plane full of people just vaping all over the place.
You can actually stop war with this blueberry mint.
That is some marketing.
changes people's attitude.
There's two pieces of military news though.
It's like,
Yeah.
Jones, we're
Got
hungry.
Second one.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that other one?
The other one was a Humvee was dropped by mistake. It doesn't say where.
Actually, this was in rural, somewhere in the middle of the middle of the country. So actually, the Humvee didn't just fall out of a plane. It was part of a test where they meant to have it roll out a plane on a platform with a parachute.
Yeah.
Landed just great. They said everything worked great in the test except for the timing, because this Humvee landed between two houses.
Oh, damn. That's hella lucky, man.
And the
Imagine,
fence was damaged.
Empty
Wow.
lot.
Yeah, you're just chilling.
Empty lot.
Yeah,
It's like
right
imagine
between
you
you
wake
and your
up,
neighbor.
there's like this brand new Humvee,
Yeah.
like there's like a parachute on it. I'm like, damn, Amazon Prime, man. That's so sick, man.
Right.
It's like I'm not gonna report about this return order. I'm
Right.
keeping it. Oh snap.
Of course, the keys are in it. It's
Yeah,
ready to
there's
go.
the keys in it. It's full of gas, ready to go.
Yeah, ready for
All
war.
And
right.
the little 5-year-old
I'm
kids
gonna
going,
go out
"Thank
to
you,
the desert
Santa."
now.
They come back. It's already gone. and
It's already
flipped.
gone.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's already wrapped around
And
a
then
tree
like
down
it's
the
like
street.
and it's like well this Humvee landed here. I was like
Finders
did it?
keepers.
No, I'd be like I mean if the Humvee landed here, I mean I'd certainly sue, right? I don't know where this Humvee. I mean I don't see anything. Someone must have taken it.
Yeah, if hypothetically this recently crashed Humvee landed safe here,
Right.
I mean, whose responsibility is it for my property that lands in my
Right.
property?
Right. If it
I mean-
lands in my property, I feel like there should be like a rule. Be like, hey man.
It's clearly crashed outside of my property now. So as I see it,
Yeah,
I'm
doesn't
not
it
even
get a
involved
safety
anymore.
Check, make sure all
Right.
the blinkers work
Exactly.
now before you roll off on it.
yeah, I was investigating its
insured?
safety.
Does it have registration and all?
Yeah, I don't
Insurance-
think
They do that
I don't
to
think
us.
government
You
vehicles
didn't pay
have VIN
taxes
numbers.
on it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to jail for crashing the Humvee because you didn't pay taxes. That's what's going to get it. It's the
And the
taxes.
blinkers
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a fix-it ticket.
Right. They just come after you. They're like, hey, we know that you took this, so we're just gonna have the IRS take care of you. Like, oh,
Oh man, this is some solid riffing, but I have to declare, News Chug continues. Give
Well, I
me
think
one
the
more.
last one we got is the big, all the pipe bombs, man. The serial pipe bomber
Yeah.
that's been all over.
Oh, yeah, what's
Breaking
been up
news
about
as
that?
of today, it's been discovered that the alleged perpetrator is a Florida man,
Of course, he's from Florida.
Stereotypically enough.
Florida man strikes again.
Yeah.
and it's an
Right.
exotic dancer.
That's so crazy, man.
It's a white, highly roided up fella that's known to be hair triggered and has lost a lot of job opportunities that way, leaving him
Go figure.
to spend most of his working life as a male exotic dancer. And he built a Trump shrine in his van.
Freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's become radicalized. And the main pull away that we were discussing before this, that this kind of awakens a lot of us to, is how easily a person can become radicalized and not just
I don't care about anything. It's only for my purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
it's the
nuts.
power of marketing.
Right.
Well, like marketing to push the same kind of buttons that cult techniques have pushed classically,
Right.
can worm ways into any one of us that's in a weak place in life.
Subconsciously, yeah.
All of us have
brainwashed
been like
almost.
after a breakup or between jobs, they're just hunting for things, having some kind of existential quest going on, a hole in our life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's been in that
They
Batman
didn't even know there's a
situation.
podcast telling them what to do.
Yeah, you could have
Yeah.
never discovered Greasy Conversation, the talk show, and led to becoming this maniac, radicalized. That honestly, we need to be aware of how much any of us, this could be us in the wrong position in life, and sympathize with. I mean, it's hard to sympathize with this person, but he's not the only one thinking like he is, and it's
Yeah.
not because they're dumb or broken. It's because media that radicalized them and took advantage of them in some way. You could even look at as victimizing them if you want to take it
Right.
that far.
Almost
But
like
at
a
the very
twisted
least,
superhero.
it's not just someone being roped into a religion because they're like an
Or
old person
anti-hero.
towards the end and it's a good way to tithe away all their money. This
Yeah.
is a straight up bomber that got radicalized with the views that he saw as being right in line with our
Does
current
anyone, how do you
president.
make the bombs?
But
Like,
he
what's
might
going
think
on?
he's a
Like, do we
hero.
know?
They were like pipe
Why
bombs.
would he
They're
do
just
it?
like
They-
regular, because
Yeah.
anyone can make a pipe bomb,
They-
right?
Yeah, you
exactly.
can get
Right.
download that.
They're the anyone kind of pipe bombs. They weren't very well made.
Yeah.
Right.
They had fireworks in them, so to speak.
That's really funny.
Yeah, they had
It's
the potential to
messed up,
cause harm, but they weren't built well. No,
Right. Okay.
relatively.
So and this guy, where did these pipe bombs end up at? Like,
One went to Obama.
One went to Hillary.
One went to Hillary, Biden, a couple Democratic senators.
Mm-hmm.
They were, I think, I don't know if they all were, but a few of them were sent from Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was like
Wasn't there-
she was the old chairman of the DNC during the last election. But it's weird that he would like send it from her, and she also received one too. So
Wasn't there something
he
like
was just
that
trying
with
to hide
powder?
himself or something.
They
Yeah.
did
More
that
than
through the
likely.
mail. What was
Are
that?
you talking about the anthrax
Yeah, anthrax.
action? This had
Right.
powder in it too, but it was probably inert from what
Or-
I've seen so far.
Or like, take an example, the underpants bomber who tried to light it up in the plane and burned his groins off and wanted insurance
didn't
for
like
it.
people like just jump him.
Yeah.
At that point, people were like tired of that shit. Because there was also another dude who tried to do it with a shoe or some shit
Right.
around that same time.
Right.
Americans
And that's why we have to take off our
jump,
shoes now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we jump terrorists in planes now.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone-
It's like, nah,
yeah.
you mess with us, yeah, we'll.
You're getting a
we'll-
handbag
okay.
to the face.
Open
Right.
the handle.
Yeah,
Open
you're
the
gonna
door.
Get, you're gonna get hit by
Can we
that
go back to tar
umbrella,
and feathering,
Yeah.
an old
please?
lady with a purse.
For sure.
Right.
Like, everyone's
Yeah.
gonna start banging.
The
You're
guy
gonna-
comes off the plane, he's tarred and feathered. What happened?
Right. Tarred and feathered.
Air Marshal got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the air
Yeah.
marshals do now.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, any other danglers? Because we've got our last like.
I don't think
couple-
so.
Oh wait. Perfect that you're saying I don't think so because shout-outs times, you guys. It's that moment where you can promo things about your own agenda.
Oh, Haley,
snap.
she's a guitar player. She's playing at the Velveteen Rabbit on the 10th. I'm
Prepared.
supporting her. Yeah, I'm just because she's
Haley.
great. Yeah, Haley,
Haley.
she's a really good singer. Go see her.
And so my name is Chris Drescher. I'm a VFX artist. I tend to work with Magnetic Studios. They're one of the best studios in town. They're now located at the Palms. That was just refurbished by Stations Casino. So yeah,
That's
we're
a
at
match
yeah,
made in
yeah.
heaven.
The money team always likes to hang out there. So you know,
Sweet.
shout out.
Hey, Instagram. Is this Instagram
Oh
at Chris
yeah, so I
Drescher?
do have a Instagram, Odin Dresch, Odin ODIN DRESCH. Follow me if you want to basically get some tips on some shooting. Still
It's a
photography
great
and
platform
videography,
for
yeah.
people in really visual.
Yeah, I love it. I love
visual
Instagram, yeah.
mediums.
I actually used to be against Instagram, and now I realize that 35% of my business came from it. So
Oh, wow.
This is, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, there you go.
Sweet.
All right, you guys, it's that time. Oops, I meant to do this.
Did we do it?
Yeah, that's
did
that
it.
success sound right there.
I was gonna have the last
Data.
one about they found. Well, like the headline sounds all interesting. They're like Thor's hammer found in Iceland.
Yeah, what was the deal with that?
Well, it turns out it was just like a little like amulet of Thor's hammer. So it's
Aw.
like, but it was found in like a really weird area, and evidence of like ironworking when there was no iron deposits.
Yeah,
there,
there's some
like,
old school
900 years ago.
metallurgy and some advanced tech that we're bumping into.
But I was
way
like, oh, did they
predating.
find like did they used to make like Thor's hammers as like weapons on the battlefield? No, because swords kill people better.
Did you ever see the electromagnet Thor's hammer that someone made as like a YouTube project? It's killing me that I'm not remember. I think it's Mark Robler, but I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that. But it's one of those YouTube science folks like that. That he made a device that looked like Thor's hammer and it had a powerful electromagnet inside, and a switch that he knew where it was in the handle.
And that,
So
and that would discharge the magnet. That's
yeah,
so
otherwise
sick.
you'd be like, why can't you pick up this hammer? Look, I could just pick it up. What's the deal? I
What's
guess
the
I'm,
deal?
Yeah,
That's pretty
why
awesome.
Are you
can't
not?
you?
Are you not the son of Odin? I'm sorry. You know?
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's funny.
it was
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
So, bye, you guys. Happy Greece to you.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, of
Happy
course.
Greece.
Thanks, man.
So that's the end of the iTunes one. These are still going until I stop them. So don't talk shit yet.
Yeah, we.
Like, all we done? Oh, man, I didn't
Yeah, I start talking shit about someone and like, oh wait till we turn off these ones.
That's fun. I was about to say, I have